government bought Pegasus to snoop on its rivals and ordinary Indian citizens. Again, the Supreme Court ruled that inconclusive proof that Pegasus used in 29 phones. They said that 29 phones had been compromised, but then the Supreme Court, of course, came out and said that that was not quite the case. EWS quota, again, and Central Vista. The Central Vista is a criminal wastage, Rahul Gandhi said in May 2021, but the SC refused to stay the HC order on the Central Vista work, saying that there was, in fact, some benefit. EWS quota. EWS quota, nothing but a midnight robbery, said Manoj Jha of the RJD, is a member of parliament. The Supreme Court in a majority verdict upheld the EWS quota. This happened, of course, earlier, mid last year, late last year. So viewers, here is what, of course, the BJP is taking umbrage at. A campaign of calumny against the Prime Minister to dent his image, to embroil him in controversies, to suggest that he, in fact, is undermining India's democracy and is a threat to it. There are, of course, several other instances also where, viewers, the opposition's negative campaign has backfired, or let's call it misinformation. No one wants to suggest that it's disinformation, which is spreading fakery, but let's say misinformation campaign has backfired. 370 fear-mongering. Remember that certain opposition leaders had said rivers of blood will flow over Article 370's revocation. The reality is that dip in terrorism by 70% between 2018 and 2022. So you can already see the benefits of that. Mismanaged charge that even Pakistan and Afghanistan handled COVID better than India. Reality check, of course, in Q1 FY 2021 at minus 24.4% to Q1 FY 2020 at 20.1%. So India's economy sort of rebounded. There was a V-shaped recovery and not a K-shaped one, as some people suggested, viewers. So you can see those statistics on your screens. On fuel relief, 10 non-BJP states yet to cut VAT on petrol and diesel. This was said as on November 2021. The reality check was that BJP states slashed VAT on fuel in November 2021. In fact, it did a better job of slashing VAT than some of the opposition ruled states. There are several other issues, viewers. So, for example, on CAA, they said Muslims were being persecuted, that their citizenship was being seized. Well, this is what Shashi Tharoor said. Centre's move pushing CA marginalizes one community. The reality check is 31% houses in minority dominant areas under PM Awas Yojana, 33% minority beneficiaries for PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, 37% minority beneficiaries under PM Ujjwala Yojana. Viewers, we are bringing you all these hard facts so that we can ask some basic questions tonight and so that we can have an informed debate. The BJP says that and it's obviously taking a jibe at the Bharat Jodo Yatra, says that Jhoot Jodo is the opposition's 2024 mantra, and that stitching together all these lives in a narrative is actually doing a disservice to democracy, because disinformation makes for ill-informed voters making the wrong choices. Is this a fact? Is this a question that can be supported with bona fide evidence? Fundamentally, viewers, let's open this up. And I want to begin with Sanjay Jha and Sanju Verma, the spokespersons of their respective outfits. The BJP, of course, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson. She's written a book also on Modi's economic handling of the economy, and has a large number of facts that she promises to put out here. Sanjay Jha is equally proficient at putting out information. Let's pit these two individuals together first. Sanjay Jha, the government has acknowledged that there has been a tough period that the economy has gone through, no doubt about that. But they also say that had some of their policies not been as proficient, India would not be as well placed as it is today. That you know what they have said. And the government has also said that it's a victim of a scurrilous campaign. The party in turn has come out and said that this campaign has been directed by the opposition, full of lies at the Prime Minister to spread disinformation, to misinform voters, and therefore, as I said earlier, to create a narrative that is based on falsehoods, forcing voters to perhaps make choices that are not in the interests of the country. How do you respond to this charge from both the government and the party? Sanjay Jha.
Well, Rahul, first and foremost, I'm glad you want an informed debate, and therefore just give me a limited time and I will debunk the absurdities that Nirmala Sitharaman indulged in, which is nothing but selective cherry picking. Here is the finance minister who is not even aware of what the Supreme Court, not the opposition, what the Supreme Court has talked about this government, which I believe is a mammoth shame for any political party in any democratic world. Do I need to remind Nirmala Sitharaman through your show as to the words used by the Supreme Court judge on the Nupur Sharma issue? Number two, what did the Supreme Court have to say on the hate speeches in those religious congregations? They openly talked about the government that is silent when India is burning and religious polarization is happening in the most blatant fashion. By the way, just a few days ago, the Chief Justice of India said, "Are you serious?" These were the words of the Chief Justice of India to the Madhya Pradesh government, because they went after a Muslim principal in a college simply because they wanted to deny him bail. Point number four, very important. The Supreme Court once again talks about the Delhi police not even filing an FIR on a hate speech. You know, I've given you 4 instances that in any democracy, Rahul, would actually put a government on the mat and to shame. I'm not even going to mention about the bulldozer. I'm not even going to mention about the multiple people who have been released by the Supreme Court citing violation of fundamental rights. Now let me come down to the 2 issues that Nirmala Sitharaman mentioned, Pegasus and Rafale. On Pegasus, guess what the Supreme Court actually said? The Supreme Court said there is not conclusive evidence, but that was because the Modi government did not cooperate with the investigation. They said they found 5 cases of malware out of the 29 phones. And they said the government gave a limited affidavit where they actually were not even very clear about what their position was. The Supreme Court said the petitioners have a very strong case, and they mentioned there that there is a very strong argument to investigate illegal surveillance in India. This government is on the mat, Rahul, trust me. And I will give you one more point on demo, and I will give you the answer on the economy. Here you have a situation on demonetization where the Supreme Court talked about procedural and whether the protocols were followed or not. The Supreme Court did not say a word on the 140 people who died, the MSME sector that was devastated, the informal sector that continues to pay a price today, and an Indian economy, Rahul, and these are facts because I'm all prepared for the debate already on the budget day. Over the last 3 years, if you look at India's GDP growth, it is actually 2.7%. And from the pre-pandemic levels. So India really hasn't grown. We haven't grown on GDP. The truth is that even this claim that we are the fastest growing economy is humbug. It is Saudi Arabia, which by the way is today the fastest growing economy in the world. And we are the poorest among the G20 countries on per capita income. I mean, how does Mr. Modi and his party have the audacity, I would call it the effrontery, to come on TV shows and blame the opposition? This is hard data. We will obviously, Rahul, I will be with you on the budget day, I'm sure. But the truth is, here is a government that even on Rafale, and I want to mention this to you. Let me end with this argument. On Rafale, there has been no investigation on the corruption because the government did not appoint a JPC. And I will tell you this for a fact, just one point. How come the government gave the offsets contract for Rafale jets to a financially bankrupt industrialist who actually had no money and preferred him over Hindustan Aeronautics Limited? I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think the Congress is right that if they were to come to government, They should open a criminal investigation, because Rafael, in my opinion, is a massive case of a humongous corruption like demonetization.
Okay, let me get Sanju Verma in. Sanju Verma, please respond to Sanjay Jha. He set it up with some accusations of cherry picking.
Rahul, can you get my audio on?
Yeah.
Okay. Rahul, first and foremost, let's get to the key debate here, which is with respect to the economy. Sanjay Jha spoke, about demonetization, and I have written more on demonetization than perhaps anybody, not only, on this panel, but otherwise as well. And let me tell you some hard facts. What is the argument being given by Modi naysayers? Oh, 99.3% of the money that was demonetized came back to the banking system, so demonetization was a failure. Let me educate Sanjay Jha and others who think like him. Anybody who has a basic understanding of economics knows that simply because money that was taken out came back into the banking system does not mean demonetization was a failure. In fact, it means that a large part of the money that earlier was not accounted for today has a digital trail and a digital footprint. Point number one. Point number two, even before demonetization, 65,000 crores of black money was recovered by way of the income disclosure scheme. 53,000 crore of indirect tax leakages were plugged in, and 62,000 crore of money which was laundered into foreign banks came back into the system. Please read Arun Jaitley's blog on demonetization and you will get your numbers right. Now, speaking of GDP growth, we are all aware that the world has been in the throes of a recession for a while now, including the biggest economies, US, UK, Germany, what have you. Last year, India's GDP growth was 8.7%, the fastest growing economy globally. This year, we are going to end with 7% growth, again the fastest growing economy globally. Even now, the inflation in Germany, UK, US is between 7 to 10%. Just yesterday, the wholesale inflation numbers came out. Wholesale inflation in India is 4.95%, and food inflation, mind you, is only 0.65%. This, when countries like US are actually grappling with the highest food inflation since 1970. Now, speaking of whether, we are doing better than the pre-pandemic times. So I just have this to say. Look at the absolute numbers. Prior to COVID, every quarter we would add 35 lakh crore to the GDP. And I want to ask Sanjay Jha, since you say you know a thing or two about economics, tell me in the second quarter numbers which were announced a couple of days back, how much did India add? We added 38.17 lakh crore in the second quarter of financial year 2022-23. When you add 38.17 lakh crore, I did not interrupt you. When we add 38.17 lakh crore on an average in a quarter, vis-a-vis 35 lakh crore which was added prior to the pandemic, that itself translates into a growth of 9%. Simple arithmetic. So don't sit here and, try and mislead the audience. Now let's speak about Sanjay Jha. You had a long and lengthy
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Let me tell you what the Supreme Court said. Even Justice Nagaratna, it was a 4:1 majority judgment. Even Justice Nagaratna, who was the only dissenting voice on the demonetization verdict, she said the intent, the bona fides with which the government went about, that cannot be questioned. And let me tell you one thing. Formalization of the economy is one of the biggest benefits of demonetization. Nirmala Sitharaman has said it umpteen times. Prior to demonetization, between 40 to 52% of our economy was within the ambit of the informal sector. Today, that is less than 20%. And I will just say one very important thing which nobody speaks of. Do you know, Rahul, when did UPI come into existence? It came into existence on the 11th of April 2016.
Okay.
How many UPI trades were done? 10 seconds. How many UPI trades were done in October 2016, 1 month before demonetization? Only 92,000 trades worth 48 crore. How many trades under the UPI were done in December 2022? 786 crore trades worth 12.8 lakh crore. Can you imagine India doing almost 13 lakh crore worth of trade every single month? And Sanjay Jha has the audacity to lecture people on economic growth and demonetization?
Not bad.
Very quickly, Sanjay Jha, because I want to open this up to our other panelists also. Yes, very quickly.
Yeah, two quick points. If you look at the data released by the government, the NSO, Rahul, it establishes that actually 82% of India's working class, and I'm talking about not just the middle class, I'm talking about really principally the rural workers and the urban workers, are worse off in their income. They are worse off than they were in 2019. They haven't seen any growth in income at all. I mean, you can't call a 0.25% as any positive growth. They are worse off.
No, Rahul, I need to
Okay, I just want to step in here. I just want to step in here because we can keep going back and forth between the BJP and the Congress. I just want to, 1 second, Sanjay Jha, please give me 30 seconds. I just want to put on record. Now, viewers, the OECD, what did it say about the Indian economy? According to OECD, India is set to be the second fastest growing economy in the G20. Very important. In FY 2022-23, behind Saudi Arabia, despite decelerating global demand and the tightening of monetary policy to manage inflationary pressures. India's GDP will slow to 5.7% in FY 2023-24 as exports and domestic demand growth moderate, while inflation will crimp private consumption but moderate at the end of the projection period, helping along with improved global conditions to boost growth to 6.9% in FY 24-25 in line with the 20-year average, excluding the COVID-19 recession, the report noted. So this is, viewers, OECD. Obviously, there are others
India is
who have...
144 in per capita income out of 194.
Okay, one second. Let's not.
You how worse off we are under.
Okay, 1 second. Let's maintain a little bit of decorum. Please, let's not speak over each other. I want to open this up. Yes, 30 seconds, Miss Sanju Verma, 30 seconds, and then I want to open this up, please. I don't want this to become a Punch and Judy show.
Rahul, you know, it is absolutely mendacious. Nothing short of sheer mendacity on the part of Sanjay Jha, the suspended Congress leader, to sit here and selectively quote Supreme Court verdicts. Let me tell you that Narendra Modi was hounded, is still being hounded for more than 20 years about the Gujarat riots. And in June 2022, the Supreme Court clearly said there was no criminal conspiracy on the part of Narendra Modi or his government in Gujarat. It had nothing to do with the 2002 Gujarat riots. And what did your Congress leaders, Jairam Ramesh, do? They went to Jantar Mantar to stand in solidarity with a much maligned Teesta Setalwad, making a mockery of the Supreme Court judgment.
Okay. Look, viewers, there are obviously two disparate views here, and they will not find any closure, at least on this debate. No one is going to agree, and this is going to be, of course, a continuous cycle, perhaps even nightly cycle till we go into 2024, the day the first vote is cast. Now, I want to bring in Smita Prakash, who's an observer of politics. Smita Prakash, let's talk in more macro terms here. The BJP says that it's a victim of jhoot jodo politics, so to speak. Would you agree to this claim, or do you think this is once again a hypothesis that is being put out to cover the failures of this government? Where do you stand on this?
I hope you have the stomach for more of this diatribe and this tutu meme, which is going to continue for the next 2 years. I think we all need guts of steel the way things are going. I think the BJP, saying that they are victims, it doesn't seem like they are victims. It's going to be something which is give and take. They have been giving equally strongly with as far as attacking the BJP Congress is concerned, or attacking the TMC, Kejriwal, whoever is in the opposition in the various states. As far as Nirmala Sitharaman saying that they are victims, I don't think so. Yes, they will claim that on Rafale, on Pegasus and stuff like that, they were on the right and the opposition was faking it. Not just disinformation, misinformation is what they were putting out, and a combination of the two, if I may say. So this is going to be something that we're going to see more and more of. But what this severely personal attacks that the Congress has been making, I think in the BJP there has been a lot of talk among the mid-level and the lower level that the seniors need to take on the Congress. It's not enough for the rank and file to fight it. It's even the seniors. And I think today when the finance minister in her role as a senior BJP leader comes out and says it, that goes to show that the narrative from the BJP is going to get a little more aggressive. That having been said, I think both Mr. Nadda and Mr. Amit Shah have given out the roadmap to the 350 odd delegates who have come in this bitter cold weather to the capital. To say what the agenda is going to be. And I think Mr. Fadnavis has given the new buzzword, which the Prime Minister seems to have given. They love these new terms. And I find it quite catchy. Jeevan ka kshan kshan or shareer ka kan kan in the service of the nation. Alliteration, no doubt, but it also means that put everything aside and the next 2 years is something which is going to be in the development of the country, and that has to be the agenda of the party and the citizen.
Well, let me bring in Mr. Mitra also here, another observer of politics, Dr. Sumansi Raman and the TMC. Let's bring them all in to this conversation. Mr. Iyer, I just want to ask you, let's for a moment agree that the data today...
we can't be brought together. I mean, this is absolutely not done.
Sorry?
You can't brought three together and give the other three, different platform. We can't be brought together. You give us the equal time.
I will. I'll come to each one of you.
My party.
I'll come to each one of you. I only mentioned the three of you because now I want the viewer also to know that I'm going to focus on each one of you.
Bring us together.
Have some patience, sir. You talked about Smita Prakash having nerves of steel. I've gone through this now for the last 8 years.
My party has been waiting for the last 25 minutes without speaking a single word.
Yes, okay, Professor. Let's not be so full of ourselves. Mr. Iyer is no less than you, and neither is Dr. Sumansi Raman. If you think they are lesser animals, lesser humans, lesser species, you can say so.
Oh, I did not say that.
Well, that you're implying that, isn't it? That you're being made to wait. Please, let me conduct this debate.
No. Why,
let me conduct this debate the way I deem fit. Calm down, Professor Mandol. You're just going off on a rant.
Second most
calm down.
Strong opposition lead political party in the parliament, with the maximum number of MPs. You need to give that.
Must learn to wait your turn, sir. This is not a VVIP. No, hang on. You are maybe a VVIP, sir, but just wait your turn, please. Others are also giving their time. And I'm allowing everyone to speak, but you're eating into their time by engaging me like this.
That VVIP culture.
Okay, I'm not engaging with you, Mr. Mandol. Look, you are happy. Please be patient.
In that Indigo flight.
Please be patient, Professor Mandol. Please be patient.
And we know how to wait patiently.
Okay, good. So I'm requesting you. I'm indulging. I want to indulge your patience tonight, not provoke it. Please. Okay, Mr. Iyer, look, let's for a moment say that Sanjay Jha is right when he talks about the NSO data and also the Labour Bureau numbers, because they have been put out and they seem to suggest that there have been income level drops in certain categories, especially some of the more vulnerable ones. Farmers' incomes have declined by 1.5% per year between 2016-17 and 2020 and 2021. This is a fact. This is there. Yeah. Based on the monthly data from the Labour Bureau, real wages in non-agriculture occupations between September 2022 declined by 0.9% per annum, whereas it remained almost stagnant for agricultural occupations, with real wages rising by 0.1% per year. So there is obviously a problem. But I want to ask you, despite this problem, why is it that the BJP at the national level keeps coming back? Is it because the opposition lacks credibility and perhaps it is not able to convince voters that it actually has a narrative that will benefit them or policies that will benefit them. Why is it that the BJP has come back so strongly twice?
So, Rahul, this is the big question, isn't it? Because, every opposition should constantly oppose the government. They're not allowed to give the government any breathing space. They should be hounding the government. That is the job of the opposition. That is what keeps the government on its toes. The problem is the opposition has a responsibility to itself and to the nation to be credible. Now, you can't, for example, start off on a Bharat Jodo Yatra you claim will heal hate, but then have the same person say, I have walked 2,800 kilometers and seen no hate. Then what are you opposing exactly? You remember Rahul Gandhi had to go to court and apologize for saying that the court said Chaukidar Chor hai during the Rafale judgment. Right?
Yep.
So there is a requirement for credibility, and unfortunately Rahul Gandhi fails that test very badly. This is number one. Number two, there is this sort of, I'm sorry to say this, but this kind of mirth that has been generated. There is this fundamental asymmetry of approaches. Rahul Gandhi keeps portraying Narendra Modi as Darth Vader. And if anybody's actually been to a Star Wars movie, Darth Vader is the second most popular character after the hero of the movie. Right. On the other hand, the BJP does something else. They keep ridiculing Rahul Gandhi and call him Pappu, and they've reduced him to the status of a joker. And the problem is, you will probably go and watch a Govinda movie, but you really won't vote for Govinda. Right. So there is this fundamental asymmetry. The Congress doesn't seem to learn. They don't seem to learn how to gain credibility. And see, here's the thing. Ultimately, what is the ultimate proof of the pudding, Rahul? It's an election, right? You've seen the way Gujarat went. Now, you tell me one state that has more medium and small industry than Gujarat. Gujarat is literally the bellwether of medium and small industry. If they had suffered so much, they would have voted the BJP out. They haven't done that. Right. Gujarat was the petri dish for all the agricultural reforms and things that Modi wanted to introduce. And in fact, that is what consolidated his control to the point that no party has been able to challenge the BJP in Gujarat for the last 30 years. If they wanted to, those same agricultural workers should have voted Modi out.
Yeah.
Yet they did not. So, there is fundamentally the INC. Everything that Sanjay Jha might have said is true. Of course, these things are always shades of grey. But in spite of being these great truth speakers, they're simply not able to get through to the public. And there is zero introspection within the party.
Okay, let me bring in the TMC. No, one second. Now, let me bring in the TMC. Professor Monojit Mondol, who has had a harrowing time listening to all our other four speakers. Now, Professor Mondol, let me ask you, sir. And this is an important question. We are on the point of conceding that there are problems. Obviously, 8 years, there are problems. They are apparent. But why is it that the TMC, for example, cannot emerge as a national alternative? You tried your luck in 2 states, you got wiped out. Beyond Bengal, that is. It's obvious that your message is faltering. And maybe it is because you yourself have been accused of falling short on some very important issues. Corruption, for example. Corruption cases dog you. Mamata Banerjee recognized that there was a cut money crisis. She admitted it. Then there is selective secularism. You talk about the lack of sabka saath in this country, this, that, the other. The courts themselves have pulled you up on selective secularism. Then there's post-poll violence. All of these things suggest that you are not the alternative. That's why you will remain perhaps the second largest party in the opposition, says the BJP. I'm not saying it. The BJP says it. How is this possible? Even the Aam Aadmi Party has grown beyond its basic state of Delhi. It has won at least Punjab. It is growing faster than your political outfit and is becoming a national party. How come you haven't been able to occupy that space?
No. First of all, I did not have any harrowing time listening to some of the speakers, including the BJP spokesperson who was insidiously involved in a kind of self-exaltation about our economic acumen. I did not have time, harrowing time, but I had every right, my party has every right to, register a protest when you are making us wait for half an hour. So no question of having harrowing time. I was listening to all of them patiently. Coming back to a question, perhaps you are not aware of the fact that in the eastern part of the country, in one particular state, in fact two particular states, TMC is now the second biggest opposition party, Meghalaya and Tripura. And mark my words, in next 2-3 months when there will be elections, TMC is going to win both the states in terms of the assembly election. By now only, even before the announcement of election, in all 60 seats in Meghalaya, TMC, my party, has already declared their candidates. I repeat, even before the declaration of the election, my party has announced their candidates in all 60 seats in Meghalaya. So that's to answer to a question about whether TMC is spreading beyond Bengal. Please correct yourself. Coming back to the issue of the successful government that you are talking about, I will talk about 2 laws. My friend Sanjay Jha has talked about economy and all. I'm not going into the detail of how price rise is going on, petrol, diesel, edible oil, Aam Aadmi, Achhe Din, everyone can understand, and unemployment rate and shrinking market. I'm not going into the detail. I will pick up 2 laws. One of the laws that you mentioned about CAA. How many years have passed by now after the passing of that particular law? 3 years. More than 3 years have passed by and you are yet to implement this law, but you began this discussion by saying that this is one of the strongest parts of the government. Point number 1. Come to another law, farm law. Again it was passed with a much fanfare and hullabulla. What happened to the government? They had to retract and take back these laws. If you say that these are the successful symbols of the government, and if we say that we are talking about the negatives, then God forbid I should not be in any kind of debate. If we state the facts and we become negative campaigners, then the opposition has no space. Now come to the issue of democracy. A nation's democracy is judged by way of the freedom of expression. What are you doing with the people? We have my friend Sanjay Jha has already given an example of what is happening in Madhya Pradesh. Yeah. Let me pick up my own friend. Saket Gokhale. You have arrested him thrice. Gujarat police arrested him thrice, hounded him from Rajasthan for tweeting something, rightly, wrongly, that's beside the point. I repeat, for putting out a tweet, and that symbolizes the degree of democracy that this government is indulging in today's world. We are not arresting anyone like Amit Malviya, who have been continuously deriding my leader, my government, my people for the last 3 years.
Your own tribesman.
Ever since the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
Ever since the COVID pandemic.
One second, let him finish.
Political leader of BJP. I repeat, we did not arrest any political leader of BJP, despite the fact that they have been deriding my political leader, my chief minister, my state, and even the people of Bengal for the last 3-4 years. Continuously.
You see, one of the reasons why viewers, the TMC doesn't want to talk about, about inflation, etc.
My chief minister.
Okay, Professor.
We have not registered any single case against these people.
No, I see. I'll tell you. You know how many cases the Bengal government has filed against me for my freedom of expression? There are 6 of them. Do you know my correspondent and our bureau chief, Tamal Saha? 1 minute. He hides. No, 1 second. No, just 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. We are talking about freedom of speech. Now, don't shout over me, sir. I never shouted over you.
I tell you.
Let me set the record straight. 1 second, my friend. 1 minute, my friend. 1 minute, my friend. Let me set the record straitt. You think you're going to intimidate me here? You're never going to do that, my dear friend. Now listen to me. Viewers. Okay, Professor, calm down.
Show me an instance where he hounded from
calm down. Calm down. Monojit Mandor, calm down. The NHRC talking about talking about freedom of expression. Voters in Bengal that decided not to vote for the TMC, the NHRC says, viewers, were attacked. It goes into details. The courts have issued notices to the Bengal government. That's the freedom of expression. Basic. Now don't shout over me. I'm correcting the picture. You talk about how you have grown in Tripura. Do you know what the vote share of the TMC in Tripura was? 0.3%, viewers. 0.3%. It's like saying that the AAP won Gujarat.
Nothing has been
Well said, Rahul.
delivered on that particular investigation by CBI.
This man has
In 2019, the West Bengal police arrested Priyanka Sharma, a BJP functionary, for sharing a meme on Mamata Banerjee. Now let me expose this. No, hang on. This gentleman who wanted to... No, one second. This gentleman, viewers... Okay, he's not... I'm going to have to lower your fader, Professor. I have to bring in the patient. I have to bring in the patient, Dr. Sumansi Raman, the good doctor. Now, 1 second, Professor. 1 second, please. Don't shout over me. It's not fair. Now, let me tell you, viewers. Mamata Banerjee refused to cut VAT on fuel in May 2022. She attacked the centre constantly. For not doing its duty by the people. At a hard time for inflicting pain on the people, and we all paid, viewers. We were all upset about that. But when it came to leading, Mamata Banerjee refused to cut VAT in May 2022. In 2019, he says that, look at how our spokesperson Sakit Gokhale has been treated. Well, Sakit Gokhale, let me tell you, viewers, in 2019, the West Bengal police also arrested Priyanka Sharma, a BJP functionary, for sharing a meme on Mamata Banerjee. And a professor belonging to the same tribe as Monojit Mondol was jailed for asking a question. And I'll tell you something, viewers, just a few days ago, Derek O'Brien put out a video saying that this is how journalists question or should be questioning prime ministers. And he talked about how Rishi Sunak was pincered very effectively. I loved it. By, viewers, a Scottish journalist. Do you know what happened when a journalist asked a few questions of the TMC government on this show? And you know who that journalist is? That's me. I didn't even get to the Chief Minister. They slapped 8 cases. I was, viewers, interviewed at 3 in the morning by their police.
Wow.
And I was just doing my job. That's their record.
Shame on TMC.
That's their record. Anyhow, Dr. Sumansi Raman, I don't think anyone can today talk about upholding the spirit of democracy and free speech. Let's all be honest. All political parties are guilty of trampling it. Sanjay Jha talked about, for example, bulldozers. He forgot that his own chief minister ran a couple of bulldozers a few days ago, in fact, knocked down the wrong house in the process. Mr. Gehlot, we are talking about, his government. So let's be a little more alert to the lies that are being spewed all around. But I just want to come out to you, Dr. Raman, and this is an important point. Let's assume for a moment that Sanju Verma is the biggest fake news spreader here on this panel. Why is it that the opposition is not getting the benefit of the doubt from the public? Why is it that the TMC only gets 0.3% of the vote in Tripura and the BJP gets 90% plus? How is it? In state contests, in Goa, the BJP chief minister, after being accused of the governor of corruption, comes back to power. How is it? Dr. Raman.
Rahul, if you will give me 90 seconds. First of all, before I answer this question directly, I want to point out about the demonetization, the long talk that Sanju Verma made about its glory. Tell me one election campaign where the BJP has gone to the electorate and spoken about demonetization. One election campaign. If at all there was any proof needed about how successful demonetization was, that is it. The fact that it was not mentioned even once. Second, we are obsessed and talk about growth. India is the fastest growing second in the economy in the world. Whose growth is it? 1% of the country's richest own 40% of the country's wealth. 10%, top 10% own 77%. 60 million people are being pushed into poverty due to healthcare costs every year. I am not saying all this. This is the Oxfam report. And 119 families in India have more wealth than the union budget. Please understand, this is the kind of growth that we have been talking about. Whose growth is it anyway? Poverty in the last couple of years,
You're quoting
according
Oxfam
to
selectively.
multiple indicators, has actually increased. Free food grain, no, don't interrupt. I did not interrupt you. 81 crore people.
Well, let him finish. Let him finish. You can respond, please. Let him finish. You can correct him. Let him finish. Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did not interrupt. Don't shout, yeah. Don't shout. I know you won't allow me to complete.
Please, Sanju Verma, let him finish, please.
Very important.
Let him finish. You can correct him point by point. You can rebut him. I'm not running away from here. Neither is he. Yes, very quickly. Finish your point, Doctor.
Rahul, my point is very simple. Then whatever has happened as quote unquote growth has been lopsided. It has been grossly unequal. And it has not lifted millions and millions out of poverty. Instead, it has made a few very rich families even more rich and obscenely rich.
Okay.
Now, the point really is, we have to ask ourselves, is this the model of growth that we actually want? Now, I'm not disputing that India is growing faster than a whole lot of other countries.
Dr. Raman, if it's all so bad, why is it that the BJP keeps coming back?
That's something that we have to look at.
You are not answering my fundamental question. I said, let's for a moment assume all of it is right.
Because I will answer that. 3 points. 3 points. Yes, I will answer that. Point number 1, they have a fantastic election machinery. They have the charisma of Mr. Modi, who is able to convince everybody. And they have probably the weakest opposition in the history of Indian politics, which is not able to get its act together, which is faction ridden and is not even able to put up a common candidate against the BJP in a majority of seats. Those are the 3 reasons that BJP keeps winning.
But so did the communists.
It's a very, very simple equation.
The communists had a fantastic election machinery. Perhaps the most formidable election machinery. They even had candidates, they even had faces to take to their electorate, but even the communists succumbed. Here you might actually have a hat trick. In Gujarat you have had almost 6 terms of uninterrupted BJP rule. In several states they have broken what is a convention or the norm, where the state boots out the party that is incumbent. In several states they have overcome that. So there must be something more to this. Sanju Verma, can you quickly answer, because I'm running out of time. What is it?
There are these 3 factors.
Okay. Rahul, I just want to make one thing very clear. There have been many tweets by Congress official and unofficial spokespersons about the Oxfam India report. The Oxfam India report says that India is not alone. Richest 62 people in the world globally have wealth equal to the poorest 3.6 billion. The bottom 50% of America's population holds only 2.6% of the global wealth. But it says one very important thing which nobody is talking of. Please now you keep quiet and listen to the truth. The Oxfam India report says that India is the only country during the pandemic which brought down the poorest of the poor ratio to less than 0.43%, and India is the only country where the lowest tax slab starts from 5%, in the UK it starts from 20%, and in the US it starts from 10%. The Oxfam India report says comparatively the distribution of wealth in terms of disparity is far lower in India compared to the rest of the world.
Why do 81 crore people...
Okay, look. Okay, that is true. The Oxfam did make certain claims. And yes, there were these claims. One has gone through the Oxfam report. But viewers, 1 second. That's not the point. The point is, if it is all so bad, why is it that the BJP, led by Mr. Modi, has got 2 successive terms in office, especially the 2019 term? How did it manage to get back despite all these corruption allegations, mismanagement, this, that, the other? Viewers, that's the fundamental question. And it's not for you or me. It's for the opposition to think about this more if they are to pose a challenge in 2024. Mr. Modi is ready. Let's move on very quickly, viewers. I want to sum up for you a very important development. Its end game for Vadra's alleged aid and fugitive arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari. British Home Secretary Suella Braverman has cleared Bhandari's extradition after the High Court's nod. He now has 14 days to appeal against the extradition in the High Court against the order. If the ED succeeds, the fugitive arms dealer will now face the courts here in India on serious charges of money laundering and tax evasion. The reason why this is a huge blow to Robert Vadra is because of an April 2010 email trail between Vadra and Bhandari's alleged aide, Thampi, regarding a London property. The Enforcement Directorate claims on record that this property is owned by Bhandari's frontman and held the property for Gandhi-in-law Robert Vadra. In other words, the ED says that the flat in London was an alleged kickback paid allegedly to Vadra as a commission for allegedly introducing Bhandari to top UPA officials, including ministers, to clear a petroleum deal. That's what the ED is claiming. The court in India have already taken cognizance of a charge sheet that makes this claim. With Bhandari's return, the ED will be able to question the arms dealer and draw out more on the alleged kickback to Mr. Vadra if it in fact did happen. And if that were to happen, the focus will shift to Robert Vadra. Times Now has confronted Mr. Vadra yet again today. He ducked our questions. He didn't want to take them. I'll just show you the sequence. It's on air right now. But let me also tell you, for years altogether, the ED has suspected that there was a deep linkage between Bhandari and Robert Vadra. Here's why the ED believes that their relationship is suspicious. What's legal? Bhandari's rise from homeopathy to arms deals. What's suspicious? Mail trail on London home that links Bhandari and Vadra. What's legal? 2008, Bhandari floats offset India solution. What's suspicious? Started after 2006 UPA's 30% plowback policy. What's legal? 2010, Bhandari gets Pilatus deal to liaison with India. What's suspicious? Huge deal to a newcomer with no prior experience. All of this is making the ED very, very suspicious. In 2010, Bhandari Vadra email trail on London home. What's suspicious about this? Incidentally coincided with the Pilatus deal. That's when it was happening. In June 2010, Bhandari sells Branston home for £1.9 million. What's suspicious? Same incidentally 6 days after signing the Pilatus deal. These are some of the reasons. Will this mean that Mr. Robert Vadra's troubles are going to mount once Mr. Bhandari comes? That's the million-dollar question. I'll leave it at this, viewers. The news are coming up.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे अनबॉक्स। Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे। Let's wait. फोन अनबॉक्स हो चुका है। जैसे कि आपने देखा यहाँ पर स्टिकर उतारते हुए मैंने इसे थोड़ा सा गंद मचा दी। यहाँ पे स्टिकर ऑलरेडी दिखाई दे रहा है, बट इसको क्लीन करेंगे बाद में। अभी बात करेंगे स्मार्टफोन के बारे में। थोड़ा सा मुझे वेट इसका ज्यादा लग रहा है, वो यूज करने के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये कितना कंफर्टेबल है। अदर देन दैट यू गेट 3 कैमरास एट द बैक। इसको आपको मिलेगा स्क्वायरिश कैमरा मॉड्यूल के अंदर। द मेन कैमरा इज 108 मेगापिक्सल और यही इसका यूएसपी है। सिर्फ बैक कैमरास की बात नहीं है बॉस, आपको फ्रंट कैमरा भी बहुत ही धांसू दिखाई दे रहा है। एटलीस्ट ऑन द स्पेक शीट यूज करने पे पता चलेगा कि कितना अच्छा है या नहीं अच्छा है। फ्रंट कैमरा जो इसका है वो आपको मिलता है 60 मेगापिक्सल का फ्रंट शूटर। आपको इसमें दिखाई देगा फुल HD प्लस एमोलेड पैनल। बेजल्स थोड़े से मुझे मोटे दिखाई दे रहे हैं, टॉप और बॉटम वाला स्पेशली। साइड बेजल्स आर स्टिल स्लिम। What keeps this smartphone alive is Helio G99 chipset. बैटरी की बात करें तो इसमें आपको मिलता है 45 वॉट का फास्ट चार्जिंग सिस्टम विच इज प्रिटी गुड. At the bottom, you also get a 3.5 mm headphone jack, and that is very interesting क्योंकि आजकल के फोन में ये आपको बिल्कुल दिखाई नहीं देता है. So you do not have to just rely on your wireless earbuds. आप यहाँ पर अपने वायर्ड हेडफोन्स का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. स्पीकर के साथ आपको मिलता है टाइप सी पोर्ट, ऊपर की तरफ माइक्रोफोन है, राइट साइड पे आपको मिलता है वॉल्यूम रॉकर और साथ में पावर बटन. लेफ्ट साइड इज प्रिटी क्लीन, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको मिलता है सिम ट्रे और सिम इंजेक्टर टूल बॉक्स में आपको मिलता है, वो मैं दिखा चुकी हूँ. यहीं पर सिम ट्रे की बात करते करते मेरी नजर गई है फ्रेम पर विच इज प्रिटी ग्लॉसी. मेटल तो नहीं है लेकिन ऐसा फील जरूर दे रहा है दैट इट्स मेटल. बाकी ये था मेरा ओवरऑल लुक एट द स्मार्टफोन. अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या आपको ये खरीदना चाहिए एट अराउंड ₹20,000-25,000, क्या ये अच्छा ऑप्शन है या नहीं, उसके लिए यू रियली नीड टू स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स टू फाइंड आउट इट्स फुल रिव्यू. नाउ यू गाइज नो द ड्रिल. लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब एंड जस्ट स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स. थैंक्स फॉर वाचिंग दिस वीडियो.
You clever, you make for more. You want it worse, and you can take me to the top. Yeah, I'd like to see you try. I'd like to see you try. Get my hands on you. You're gonna turn black, you're gonna turn blue. Oh, that's some real bad news. It's not me, it's you.
हेलो एवरीवन, मैं खड़ा हूँ ऑल न्यू BMW M345 X ड्राइव के बगल में और ये यहाँ पर BMW ने फाइनली इंडिया में लॉन्च कर दी है. क्या डिटेल्स हैं इसके डिजाइन, इसके एक्सटीरियर, इसके इंटीरियर को लेकर, क्या फीचर्स दिए गए हैं, परफॉर्मेंस के आंकड़े क्या है, सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूँ इस वीडियो में. तो डिजाइन की बात करें इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्सटीरियर तो फ्रंट में वही स्पोर्टी डिजाइन लैंग्वेज इस M340i में देखने को मिल रही है. ग्रिल में किडनी ग्रिल यहाँ देखने को मिल रहा है विद ग्लॉस बैक एलिमेंट्स एंड LED हेडलाइट्स हैं विद ब्लू एक्सेंट्स यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रहे हैं इसकी हेडलाइट्स में. इसके अलावा बम्पर में जो है वो भी ग्लॉसी ब्लैक का इस्तेमाल करा गया है एंड एयर इनटेक्स भी यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहे हैं विच गोज बिहाइंड, जो व्हील की तरफ जाते हुए देखते हैं एंड BMW LED की बैजिंग यहाँ देखने को मिल रही है. इसके अलावा बात करें व्हील्स की तो व्हील्स जो इसमें दिए गए हैं वो हैं 19 इंच के और 225 सेक्शन.
All the top stories on the show tonight, viewers.
BJP questions the silence of top RJD leaders including Tejaswi Yadav on Bihar's Minister Chandrasekhar. The spokesperson of the party claims while he has gone scot-free in the name of secularism, Nupur Sharma was made a victim by these left liberal parties. Bihar Chief Minister broke his silence over the remarks of his Education Minister's comments on the Ramcharitmanas, saying that his government respects all religions and advocates freedom for all to practice their religion. Amid the tussle with the Lieutenant Governor over the teacher's trip to Finland, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal launched an explosive attack on the Lieutenant Governor, saying he deliberately is scuttling the teacher's trip as he is against providing quality education.
Let's get it started here, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated why you can't grind. It's like you're on the job, you know that team.
हेलो एवरीवन, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150. इन केस यू वंडरिंग 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है. सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं, डिजाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस P वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं. तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर. और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धासु और 3 नॉट धासु एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में. अब डिजाइन की बात करें तो यहां पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है, स्पेशली ओवरऑल 150 जो पल्सर है उसके मुकाबले इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिज़ाइन पूरी आपको ये P150 अलग देखने को मिलेगी, लेकिन आपको ओवरऑल जो एसेंस है डिज़ाइन का वो इसमें N160 वाला देखने को मिलने वाला है। फ्रंट हालांकि अलग है यहाँ पे, लेकिन अब इस
Thank you very much for joining me, Smriti Irani ji, Union Minister for Women and Child Development and Minority Affairs. Smriti ji, आज हम डेवॉस में खड़े हैं और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक सपना देखा था, एक टारगेट भी रखा था कि हम भारत को 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी बनाएंगे। आज जब आप डेवॉस में वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम में है, तो क्या भारत की ये कहानी इंडिया स्टोरी जो है बाकी दुनिया कैसे देख रही है?
हिंदुस्तान देश भर में एक चर्चा तो है ही, लेकिन यहाँ पे डावोस में जहाँ विश्व भर की सरकारें आती हैं, विश्व भर के इन्वेस्टमेंट कंपनीज आती हैं, सबके बीच में एक ही चर्चा है, एक हिंदुस्तान का पोटेंशियल, हमारा स्किल फोर्स को लेके। वर्क फोर्स बहुत लोग कहते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप एप्टीट्यूड की, काबिलियत की दृष्टि से देखें तो हमारा स्किल फोर्स क्या है। 700 मिलियन हमारे देशवासी लिटरेट हैं, मतलब पढ़ लिख लेते हैं, पढ़े लिखे हैं, जिसमें से 600 मिलियन हमारी वर्कफोर्स का हिस्सा है। इसमें आज अगर आप बाकी देशों के नज़रिए से देखें तो हिंदुस्तान की क्या क्या उपलब्धि रही। एक चर्चा रही कोविड से पहले कि क्या हिंदुस्तान के ग्रामीण अंचल में टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से सरकार जनता जनार्दन तक जो ज़रूरत की चीज़ें हैं लॉकडाउन की स्थिति में पहुंचा सकती हैं। ये हमने पूरी दुनिया में साबित कर दिया कि 80 करोड़ नागरिकों को सतत 28 से 30 महीने तक घर तक राशन पहुंचाना मुफ्त में। जब देश कई वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में चिट पर लिख रहे थे किसको क्या वैक्सीन मिली है, हिंदुस्तान ने कोविन करके एक एप्लीकेशन बनाया, हर हिंदुस्तानी ने उसको अपनाया और 200 करोड़ से ज़्यादा डोजेस मुफ्त में हमारी सरकार ने मुहैया कराया। एक तरफ सरकार ने सामाजिक अपने दायित्व का निर्वहन किया, लेकिन साथ ही साथ रिफॉर्म का एजेंडा समाप्त नहीं हुआ, रुक नहीं गया। आज विश्व भर में सबसे बड़ा ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का जो मिशन है वो हिंदुस्तान ने प्रस्तावित किया है। प्रधानमंत्री ने 2 हफ्ते पहले ही अपने कैबिनेट में ये निर्णय लिया। ग्रीन ग्रोथ जिसे कहते हैं और सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी जिसे कहते हैं, वो विश्व के पटल पे भारत के एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि की दृष्टि से देखा जा रहा है। साथ ही भारत में आर्थिक नए आयामों को कहीं ना कहीं परिपक्व करने की दृष्टि से देखा जा रहा है।
लेकिन स्मृति जी, विपक्ष का ये कहना है कि आप ग्रीन एनर्जी की बात करेंगे लेकिन पोल्यूशन बढ़ता चला जा रहा है, आम इंसान की जिंदगी में कोई फर्क नहीं आया। आप कह रही हैं कि रिफॉर्म्स छोड़ा नहीं। वहाँ विपक्ष के कुछ राज्य ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम दोबारा से लागू कर दी है और इसे आरबीआई ने भी कहा है और पुराने विशेषज्ञ जो है, जो कांग्रेस के समय भी रहते थे, मोंटेक सिंह आलूवालिया जी, उन्होंने भी कहा है कि ये बैंकरप्ट कर देंगे। तो एक तरफ 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी और हम रिफॉर्म्स की बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ ये ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम और ये जो मुफ्त का राशन है ये भी चलता जा रहा है। कोविड हालांकि अब खत्म हो गया है, तो क्या ये रेवड़ियों का जो कल्चर है ये किसी न किसी तरीके से चल रहा है?
मुझे लगता है कि 2-3 सवालों को आपने एक ही सवाल में मिश्रित किया है। सबसे पहले तो चलें ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम की बात करें। साधारण नागरिक को पहले तो कहीं ना कहीं अपनी वार्ता के माध्यम से बतलाना पड़ेगा ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम और नई पेंशन स्कीम में क्या फ़र्क है। नाविका जी, आप भी कामकाजी महिला हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं प्रोविडेंट फंड में आपका योगदान होता है, अपनी तरफ से थोड़ा बहुत शायद आपकी कंपनी भी योगदान करती है। ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम में जितना आप अपनी लास्ट सर्विस में, कोई भी जो अफसर है लास्ट सर्विस में जितनी भी उनकी आय थी उसका 50% उनको पेंशन में मिलता था। जो नई पेंशन स्कीम है उसके अंतर्गत जो सरकार ने प्रस्तावना की, और ये भी ध्यान रखें ये प्रस्तावना अफसर्स के माध्यम से ही आई, ये नहीं है कि नरेंद्र मोदी ने कहा मुझे ये करना है तो मैं अकेले कर डालूं। ये ऑफिसर्स ने भी देखा कि क्या ऐसा हम कर सकते हैं जिसमें आर्थिक कहीं ना कहीं समृद्धि की दृष्टि से, टैक्स पेयर के पैसे को सही ढंग से इस्तेमाल करने की दृष्टि से हम एक पेंशन स्कीम लाएं जो ऑफिसर्स का भी संरक्षण करे और ट्रेजरी के मतलब जनता के पैसे का भी संरक्षण करे। इसके अंतर्गत नई पेंशन स्कीम में सरकार ने कहा कि सालाना एक तो सरकार का कंट्रीब्यूशन रहता है जो आपने 50% अर्न किया उसका, लेकिन उसमें से 10 से 14% अब जो व्यक्ति है उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन रहता है। अगर आप इसको क्वांटिफाई करें कि लगभग कितने रुपए होंगे सालाना, 1,500 से 2,000 रुपए। लेकिन अगर आप ये कंट्रीब्यूशन करते हैं, आप अगर ऑफिसर हैं तो आपको टैक्स की डिडक्शन मिलती है 1.5 लाख तक की। अगर आप ऑफिसर हैं और रिटायर कर रहे हैं तो आपको CGHS के माध्यम से आपकी कोई भी मेडिकल इमरजेंसी होगी उसकी मुफ्त की सेवा मिलती है। अगर आपको कहीं डायग्नोस्टिक्स करना है वो आपको रिबेट पे मिलता है। अगर आपको कहीं दवाइयाँ चाहिए तो आपको रिबेट पे मिलता है। तो एक सिस्टम जो आपने कहा विशेषज्ञ जो कांग्रेस सरकार का हिस्सा रह चुके हैं बार बार कह रहे हैं कि जनता की तिजोरी में जो जनता की तिजोरी का पैसा है उसको जनता के लिए ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिवली इस्तेमाल करें और आप उस पैसे को लेके अपनी राजनीति चमकाने की कोशिश ना करें। तो आप जनता से ही पूछ लीजिए, आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर में काम करती हैं, क्या आपको वो सुविधा है जो ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम कहता है? क्या आप ये कहना चाहते हैं कि एक ऑफिसर 1,500 रुपए सालाना नहीं दे पाएंगे? दे पाएंगे, लेकिन इसको एक पॉलिटिकल हथियार के रूप में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कई राज्यों में निश्चित रूप से भुनाने की कोशिश की है। लेकिन क्या जनता का पैसा जनता से छीनना कांग्रेस की आदत सी नहीं लगती आपको?
लेकिन रेवड़िया तो फिर आपकी सरकार भी देख रही।
मैं इसलिए डिफर करती हूँ नामिका जी, आज यही एक चर्चा से मैं आपके सम्मुख उपस्थित हुई हूँ जो स्वास्थ्य के एक इकोसिस्टम से संबंधित है। हिंदुस्तान विश्व का सबसे बड़ा हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम चलाता है। विशेषतः प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आयुष्मान भारत की जब कल्पना की तब उस कल्पना नहीं बल्कि उस हकीकत के अंतर्गत देश के 10 करोड़ परिवार, इसका मतलब लगभग 40 से 50 करोड़ नागरिकों को जो गरीब हैं उनको देश के 26,000 अस्पतालों में 1300 से ज़्यादा जो हमारी अलग अलग प्रकार की डिजीज हैं उससे जूझने के लिए 5 लाख सालाना उसकी मदद मिलती है। इसके अंतर्गत साथ ही अगर आप आज आंकड़ा देखें आयुष्मान भारत का तो हर मिनट में 26 से 28 लोग इसकी सेवा, गरीब लोग इसकी सेवा प्राप्त करते हैं और हर मिनट में लगभग 120 नए लाभार्थी आइडेंटिफाई होते हैं। अब आप अगर इसको इन्वेस्टमेंट की दृष्टि से देखें तो वो क्या इन्वेस्टमेंट है? अगर आप कहते हैं कि आज इंश्योरेंस बैक्ड, गवर्नमेंट बैक्ड हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम है तो क्या वो गरीब आदमी के हाथ में और कंजम्पशन और परचेजिंग पावर को बढ़ाता है? बिल्कुल बढ़ाता है, क्योंकि गरीब के ऊपर सबसे बड़ा बर्डन जो था वो हेल्थ केयर का बर्डन था। अब ये सरकार कहती है चलिए हम आपके इस बर्डन में इजाफा नहीं करते, इसको घटाते हैं। आपके पास जो साधन अब आर्थिक दृष्टि से उपलब्ध होंगे उसको आप अपने परिवार के शिक्षा में लगाएं, उसको आप कंजम्पशन में लगाएं, आपकी परचेजिंग पावर को बढ़ाएं, इकोनॉमी को फ्यूल करें। तो एक इकोनॉमिक दृष्टिकोण से भी, इन्वेस्टमेंट के दृष्टिकोण से इसको देखना चाहिए। दूसरा, जब आयुष्मान भारत की परिकल्पना प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सबके सम्मुख प्रस्तुत की उसमें प्रिवेंटिव हेल्थ केयर का भी एक अंश रहा। फॉर इंस्टेंस देश में आज 77,000 हेल्थ केयर सेंटर्स हैं जहां पर प्रिवेंटिव हेल्थ केयर का काम इसी आयुष्मान भारत के अंतर्गत होता है। एक और आपको मैं उदाहरण देती हूँ, हम महिला स्वास्थ्य की बात करते हैं। हमारे देश में अभी यहीं पे बोल कर आई हूँ 120 मिलियन औरतें ऐसी हैं जिन्होंने सिर्फ आयुष्मान भारत के अंतर्गत और उसकी सेवा की वजह से ब्रेस्ट कैंसर की अपनी स्क्रीनिंग की, सर्विक्स कैंसर की स्क्रीनिंग की। विश्व भर में आंकड़े चौंकाने वाले हैं क्योंकि लोग ये समझते थे पश्चिमी देशों में कि हिंदुस्तानी औरत कभी भी ब्रेस्ट कैंसर, कैंसर ऑफ द सर्विक्स ऐसे विषयों पर ना बात करेगी, मर जाएगी लेकिन सुविधा नहीं प्राप्त कर पाएगी अथवा सुविधा प्राप्त करने से कहीं ना कहीं उसकी एक हिचकिचाहट दिखेगी। आज आयुष्मान भारत की वजह से ये बहुत बड़ा एक सिस्टमिक चेंज हमारे देश में आया है। क्या महिला की जान बचाना रेवड़ी कल्चर है?
नहीं, तो आप जो करें, अगर बूढ़े लोग हैं जिन्हें ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम मिल रहा है,
दोबारा कह रही हूँ
उनकी ओल्ड एज में इन्वेस्टमेंट करना,
मैं दोबारा कह रही हूँ। पहली बात, ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम एक ब्यूरोक्रेसी से संबंधित चीज है। अफसर जो हमारे सिस्टम का एक हिस्सा है उनसे संबंधित है। वो अपनी जहां से वो रिटायर होते हैं जितना कमा रहे थे उसका 50% पाना उस स्कीम के अंतर्गत, और उसमें एक अफसर का कंट्रीब्यूशन 1000-1500 रुपए होना। आप मुझे कह रहे हैं कि जिनके पास हेल्थ केयर की फैसिलिटी है, जिनके पास ये सारी, और ये पूरा सिस्टम पॉलिटिशियन ने नहीं बनाया, ऑफिसर ने ही न्यू पेंशन स्कीम बनाया। क्यों? क्योंकि जैसे मॉन्टेक सिंह भी बोल चुके हैं कि आप हिंदुस्तान को बैंकक्रप्ट अपनी पॉलिटिक्स के लिए नहीं कर सकते। तो अगर एक ऑफिसर्स के समूह ने बड़ी ही कॉन्शियसली निर्णय लिया है, तो कांग्रेस अगर अपनी राजनीति को चमकाने के लिए हिंदुस्तान की ट्रेजरी को बैंकक्रप्ट करने का निर्णय करती है, हिंदुस्तान की आवाम को वंचित करने का निर्णय करती है, आप बहुत ही सच्चाई से बताएं कि आप उनकी पीठ थपथपा सकते हैं?
लेकिन कंपेटिटिव राजनीति तो है,
ये जनता का पैसा है,
लेकिन कंपेटिटिव राजनीति है।
एक ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिस्टम ने इस सरकार में कहा जनता के पैसे को शिक्षा में डालिए, हेल्थ केयर में डालिए। अगर पैंडेमिक के दृष्टिकोण से 80 करोड़ नागरिकों को मुफ्त का राशन देना है उसमें डालिए। आपको इससे क्यों ऐतराज हो सकता है? अगर
राजनीति में
अगर
अलग-अलग
पार्टियां पॉलिटिक्स छोड़ दीजिए, भारत सरकार के अफसर अगर भारत की समृद्धि के लिए, भारत के संरक्षण के लिए निर्णय ले रहे हैं, और इस निर्णय का समर्थन वो लोग भी कर रहे हैं जो कांग्रेस को इकोनॉमिक एजेंडा बताते थे, इसमें आप बताइए गलती किसकी है? उनकी, जो कुछ भी करें ताकि सत्ता हथियाएं, और सत्ता हथियाने के बाद क्या करते हैं? 2 लाख करोड़ का बर्डन, आर्थिक बर्डन भारत सरकार लेती है ताकि जो एनर्जी सप्लाई सिस्टम्स हैं वो अफोर्डेबल हों। ठीक है, एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे यूक्रेन और रशिया के जो इस वक्त हालात है उसको लेकर है, लेकिन जहां पर विपक्ष की पार्टी सत्ता में आती है, सत्ता में आने के बाद क्या करती है? तुरंत दाम बढ़ा देती है, और अगर पत्रकार जाके पूछे तो हमसे क्यों पूछो, जाओ उस मुख्यमंत्री से पूछो। तो इस प्रकार का पॉलिटिकल एरोगेंस जो विपक्ष में है, उसके बारे में कहीं ना कहीं एक चिंतन भारत में है कि अगर वाकई में विषम परिस्थितियों से भारत को उभारना हो, और वो विषम परिस्थितियां ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी में दिखाई दे रही है, तो आपकी सही पॉलिटिकल चॉइस फॉर लीडरशिप क्या होगी? तो आज भी रेजोल्यूटली हिंदुस्तानी कहते हैं एक ही चॉइस है, नरेंद्र मोदी।
लेकिन यहाँ डावोस में अगर कुछ राज्य इस तरह की एक्सट्रावेगेंट स्कीम्स में जाएं, रिफॉर्म्स से परे जाएं, तो दुनिया कैसे हमें देखती है एक देश के मामले से? क्योंकि कुछ लोगों का कहना है कि क्या ये सब करते हुए हम पाकिस्तान की तरफ नहीं पहुंच जाएंगे?
नहीं, 2 चीजें हैं यहाँ पर। देश भर की अर्थव्यवस्था के जो विशेषज्ञ हैं, विश्व भर के जो अर्थव्यवस्था के विशेषज्ञ हैं, और इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज में जो निवेश करते हैं, इमर्जिंग स्किल सेट्स में जो निवेश करते हैं, जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स लेकर पार्टनरशिप्स को और भी समृद्ध करेंगे हिंदुस्तान में, उन सब का जमावड़ा चर्चा की दृष्टि से, निवेश की दृष्टि से, पॉलिसी मेकिंग की दृष्टि से, कॉर्पोरेट एंगेजमेंट्स की दृष्टि से यहाँ होता है। एक नैरेटिव रहा वर्षों वर्ष तक कि हिंदुस्तान की अर्थव्यवस्था को सुदृढ़ करने के लिए भारत सरकार इतनी प्रतिबद्ध नहीं है। यहाँ पर हिंदुस्तानी चाहे किसी भी राज्य से हो, और कई विपक्ष के भी यहाँ पर प्रतिनिधि हैं, लेकिन सबने सर्वसम्मति से प्रधानमंत्री जी के एक आह्वान को स्वीकार किया है, that when you say that financial or an economic investment agenda or partnership fails in a state, it is not that state that fails, it is India that carries the burden. तो हमारे लिए हिंदुस्तानी होने के नाते घर पे जिसको जितना झगड़ना है, जिसको जितना द्वेष व्यक्त करना है, जिसको जितने झगड़े करने करें, लेकिन जब हिंदुस्तान के बाहर कदम रखें, हम याद रखें राष्ट्र हमारा है, चाहे राजनीति हमारी कोई भी क्यों ना हो।
तो मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ स्मृति ईरानी जी, अभी आप अपना एक सेशन कर रही थी और आप बाहर निकली, तो आपके थोड़ा सा पहले निकले आम आदमी पार्टी के सांसद राघव चड्ढा जी। आप भी यंग ग्लोबल लीडर हैं, वो भी यंग ग्लोबल लीडर हैं। क्या विपक्ष में होने के नाते, और आप सरकार में हैं, बड़ी मंत्री है सरकार की, कोई सेम पेज में है जब भारत से बाहर जाते हैं?
देखिए, प्रधानमंत्री जी का बार बार यही निवेदन रहा है, यही मार्गदर्शन रहा है कि जब हम डावोस जैसी व्यवस्थाओं में सम्मिलित होते हैं, हम भूल जाएं कि हमारी पॉलिटिकल व्यवस्थाएं क्या हैं। क्योंकि जब हम इस धरती पर कदम रखते हैं, धरती के इस अंश पर कदम रखते हैं, तो हम याद रखें कि लोग जब इन्वेस्टमेंट की अपेक्षा और पॉलिटिकल और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एंगेजमेंट की अपेक्षा से हिंदुस्तान आते हैं तो दो चीज़ें रिकग्नाइज करते हैं। एक कि जो रिफॉर्म की चर्चा हम लोग बार बार कर रहे हैं लेजिस्लेटिवली, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिवली, आज सर्वसम्मति से सभी लोगों ने davos में भी इस बात को स्वीकार किया है कि ये रिफॉर्म नरेंद्र मोदी ने सिर्फ कहा नहीं बल्कि करके दिखाया है, पॉलिसी में, लेजिस्लेशन में करके दिखाया है। दूसरी बात, प्रधानमंत्री ने ही आगाज किया था कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म का। प्रधानमंत्री ने, चाहे वो कोविड एक्शन हो, चाहे कोविड से ट्रांजिशन का एक्शन हो, प्री पैंडेमिक हो, हर विषय पर राज्यों को संग लेने की पहल और कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म के इस ढांचे के माध्यम से राष्ट्र को बुलंद करने का आह्वान किया है बार बार। तो आज
लेकिन ये हुआ है क्या?
कंप्लायंस बर्डन को कम करने के लिए जब हम एक प्रस्ताव लाते हैं देश की संसद में, तो वो कंप्लायंस बर्डन का सिर्फ राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कम करने की बात करते हैं। जब तक वो रिफॉर्म प्रादेशिक स्तर पर, जिला स्तर पर पर्कुलेट नहीं करेगा, इंडस्ट्री और कैसे बढ़ेगी? और जब तक इंडस्ट्री नहीं बढ़ेगी तब तक अपॉर्चुनिटीज कैसे बढ़ेंगी? तो अगर हम कहते हैं कि हम सब समर्पित हैं कि हमारी युवा पीढ़ी के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़ें, हमारे देश में स्किल के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़ें, तो कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म जिसकी प्रधानमंत्री जी बार बार चर्चा करते हैं, दैट इज द ओनली वे फॉरवर्ड।
लेकिन स्मृति जी, क्या कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म बढ़ा है पिछले 8-9 सालों में?
देखिए, देयर इज
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कुछ बोल रहे हैं।
There is a political consistency in the opposition. It is to personally demonize the Prime Minister. But if there is a political fact that every Indian today accepts, and many accept it with elation, many accept it with a sense of humility, political or otherwise, it is that Narendra Modi is the tallest, not political but national leader. And why do I say there's a difference between saying there's a political and national leadership narrative difference? मैं अभी जिस आप वार्ता की बात कर रहे हैं, that had to do with women's health. हमारे राष्ट्र के इतिहास में कभी भी किसी प्रधानमंत्री ने लाल किले की अपनी जो स्वतंत्रता दिवस की जो स्पीच है उसमें कभी नहीं कहा औरतों के लिए टॉयलेट बनाओ। महिला भी रह चुकी है, लेकिन कभी नहीं कहा। प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा करो। और जब हमने साल 2014 से लेकर 15 तक हर सरकारी स्कूल में टॉयलेट बनते देखा, उसमें प्रधानमंत्री जी ने क्या कहा था? राज्य और केंद्र की सरकार संग मिलकर की। हमने किया एज अ कंट्री। दैट वाज नॉट अ पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा, दैट वाज अ ह्यूमन एजेंडा। तो आज जब प्रधानमंत्री बात करते हैं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे या राजनीतिक स्तर पे, डोमेस्टिकली भी, क्या कहते हैं कि हम बात करते हैं, और ऐसे समय में तो विशेष ग्लोबलाइजेशन की, let our industrialization, let our growth story become more human centric is what he says. We can explore opportunities. For instance, मैं आपको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी का उल्लेख करना चाहूँगी। 1-2 हफ्ते पहले ही कोऑपरेटिव जो हमारा मंत्रालय है, अमित भाई उसके मंत्री हैं, कोऑपरेटिव मंत्रालय में 3-4 बहुत अहम निर्णय किए गए। एक्सपोर्ट पोटेंशियल कैसे बनाएं आप कोऑपरेटिव्स के माध्यम से, मतलब ये कोalition है जो हमारे प्रादेशिक नहीं बल्कि जिला स्तर पे हमारी जो ग्रामीण अंचल में जो हमारी फार्म इकोनॉमी है उसको और सुदृढ़ करता है। सीड बैंक कैसे बनाएं?
लेकिन
तो जब नए पथ संचलन हो रहे हैं, नए अपॉर्चुनिटीज की दृष्टि से, इसलिए कह रही हूँ प्रधानमंत्री को मैं टॉलेस्ट पॉलिटिकल लीडर नहीं कह रही हूँ, टॉलेस्ट नेशनल लीडर कह रही हूँ, बिकॉज ही इज मेड ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक डेवलपमेंट सेंट्रल टू हिज एजेंडा, विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट। लोग जेंडर जस्टिस की बातें करी जा रहे हैं। आज कितने लोग हैं, कितने राष्ट्रों से जो इस बात का हर्ष व्यक्त कर रहे हैं कि G20 की प्रेसिडेंसी हिंदुस्तान के पास आ रही है और हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री ने विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट को मेन स्ट्रीम एजेंडा बना दिया, जो कभी नहीं हुआ। साइडलाइंस पे चर्चा होती थी महिला की, प्रधानमंत्री ने उसको सेंट्रल चर्चा का विषय बनाया।
लेकिन स्मृति जी, विपक्ष 3-4 चीजों में सवाल उठाता है
जी।
सबसे पहला कि 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी बनने का जो एक लक्ष्य था वो पूरा होना था शायद 2024 तक, डबलिंग द फार्म इनकम टू 2022 तक, 2 करोड़ जॉब्स उसकी बात करता है। आज CMI का डेटा देखे तो हाईएस्ट अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट नेशनल लेवल पर देखने को मिलती है। जीएसटी कलेक्शन अगर आप देखें तो जीएसटी कलेक्शन में भी आप देखेंगे कि नियरली 53% जो जीएसटी है वो नीचे के तबकों से किया जाता है।
ऑक्सफैम की रिपोर्ट बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन वो सत्य नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं इसलिए इससे सहमत नहीं हूं क्योंकि आपने उसको ऐसे प्रस्तुत किया जैसे कि वो सरकारी रिपोर्ट है। ऐसा नहीं है, वो एक ऐसे संस्थान की रिपोर्ट है जो बार बार कह रही है कि हमको एफसीआरए समर्थन दो ताकि हम फंड हिंदुस्तान में ला सके। तो थोड़ा बहुत उसमें आप तब्दीली करें उस पोजीशन में, क्योंकि ये सत्य
तो फिर
है।
सीएमआई की डेटा भी गलत है।
एक सेकेंड, जिसको कोई नकार नहीं सकता। दो बातें, एक कि जब आप बात करते हैं जीएसटी के और निचले तबके की बात करते हैं, 20 लाख तक की तो जो व्यवस्था है उनका एग्जेम्पशन है, उसके ऊपर कभी कोई चर्चा नहीं होती। दूसरा, जब आप बात करते हैं लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन की, जब एक इंडाइस बनता है, एक फ्रेमवर्क बनता है टू रिकग्नाइज लेबर फोर्स, उस इंडाइस में क्या क्या चीजें होती हैं? आपके बहुत बड़े एक एग्रेरियन सोसाइटी में 60% अगर आप कहते हैं या 50% फार्म बेस्ड इकोनॉमी है, तो उस फार्म बेस्ड इकोनॉमी में आप फॉर्मलाइज क्यों करना चाहते हैं लेबर को, या किसी भी क्षेत्र में फॉर्मलाइज क्यों करना चाहते हैं? एक, क्योंकि आप उनको सोशल सिक्योरिटी देना चाहते हैं, करेक्ट? और अगर सोशल सिक्योरिटी की दृष्टि से देखें तो हिंदुस्तान में क्या हुआ है, यहाँ पे दावोस में एक कप चाय जितने की उससे कम में आपका सुरक्षा बीमा योजना आपको हिंदुस्तान में मिलता है 2 लाख रुपए तक का। ये सत्य है, इसको आप नकार नहीं सकते।
लेकिन दावोस में परचेजिंग पावर जो है वो हिंदुस्तान के
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल इसीलिए कह रही हूँ, क्योंकि परचेजिंग पावर में डिस्पैरिटी है, इसीलिए आपकी यहाँ पे एक सोशल सिक्योरिटी स्कीम ऐसी चलती है जो विश्व में कहीं नहीं दिखी, जहाँ 1 रुपए में आपको 2 लाख रुपए का इंश्योरेंस कवर मिलता है। लेकिन ये वही तबका है जिसको आयुष्मान भारत का भी लाभ मिलता है। ये वही तबका है जिसकी फूड सिक्योरिटी नीड्स को प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सुरक्षित किया। ये वही तबका है जिसको बाकी तबकों की तरह मुफ्त की वैक्सीन मिली है। नाविका जी, एक परिवार में अगर 4 लोग हों, वैक्सीन की अगर बाजार की कीमत 600 रुपए हो, बूस्टर डोज के साथ एक व्यक्ति का 1800 रुपए लगता हो, कैन यू इमेजिन कितनी सेविंग प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निचले तबके गरीब परिवारों के लिए की, मध्यम वर्गीय परिवार भी। जहां तक बात विपक्ष की आई है, आपने कभी भी विपक्ष को शूट एंड स्कूट के अलावा पॉलिसी इश्यूज पे विस्तार से चर्चा करते देखा है? फॉर इंस्टेंस, हम बात करते हैं लेबर को फॉर्मलाइज करो कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर्स में जहां पे अनऑर्गेनाइज लेबर है। अब बार बार जब हम कहते हैं तो ये अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर के कंस्ट्रक्शन या इंफ्रा कंपनीज कौन चलाता है? तो सरकार क्या कर सकती है कि आप अगर लेबर को फॉर्मलाइज करना चाहते हैं तो जो आपकी प्रोविडेंट फंड की स्कीम है उसमें हम आपको समर्थन देते हैं। टेक्सटाइल में हमने किया, बहुत सारा एक लेबर हमारा फॉर्मलाइज भी हुआ, लेकिन इसी के लिए हम चाहते हैं कि पार्टनरशिप समाज के अलग अलग आयाम के बीच में और भी समृद्ध हो। ये पार्टनरशिप इज फॉर द पीपल।
5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी का टारगेट मिस हुआ।
विपक्ष में से कितने लोगों ने इस फैक्ट को कहीं ना कहीं देखा, परखा और स्वीकार किया कि ग्लोबल डिस्ट्रप्शन पैंडेमिक की वजह से कितनी हुई है, सप्लाई चेन्स पैंडेमिक की वजह से कितनी आहत हुई है। फिर भी ऐसी आहत सप्लाई चेन्स में फूड सिक्योरिटी, हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी को इंश्योर किया है हिंदुस्तान में। डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की हम बात करते हैं, हमें बड़ा साधारण सा लगता है ये सब्जेक्ट, लेकिन 130 करोड़ लोगों की डिजिटल आइडेंटिटी बनाना, कैश ट्रांसफर करना उनके बैंक के खाते में, ये कोई आसान बात नहीं है। लगभग 2.5-3 साल से आपकी सरकार दरवाजे तक सुविधा आपको दे रही है और विश्व की कई इकोनॉमीज आज भी इसे ग्रैपल कर रही है। नाविका जी, जब पैंडेमिक हुआ था, आप ही के चैनल पे एक वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड के देश के बारे में हमने देखा कि उनका टॉयलेट पेपर खत्म हो गया था। हिंदुस्तान में ये मुसीबत नहीं आई थी। हिंदुस्तान ने जब ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन्स बंद थे, लॉकडाउन था मूवमेंट के ऊपर ग्लोबली, तब हम पीपीई सूट्स के सेकंड लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्टर्स इन द वर्ल्ड बने। हमने अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को रिपर्पस किया और सब्सिडी का 1 रुपया नहीं दिया था उसमें। विपक्ष कभी ये चर्चा नहीं करेगा।
लेकिन विपक्ष का ये कहना है कि आप पैनिक मोड में हैं, यानी कि बीजेपी पैनिक मोड में है भारत जोड़ो यात्रा की वजह से।
किस लिए?
क्योंकि भारत जोड़ो
निकले थे कह के, पहले तो मैंने ही प्रश्न किया था आप ही के साथ किसी चर्चा में, टूटा है क्या हिंदुस्तान? उन्होंने खुद स्वीकार किया, नहीं, हर जगह बहुत खुशहाली है, सब बड़े खुश हैं। तो खुद ही स्वीकार कर चुके हैं, इसमें ज्यादा मुझे जोड़ने की क्या जरूरत है।
लेकिन
when the success of your so-called political journey becomes symbolically intertwined with a t-shirt, do I need to waste time on political talk on it?
But the fact is that the opposition did raise the question. उन्होंने सवाल ये
So
उठाया
let's have an elaborate talk. And I have said this consistently in all my engagements with you. Forget anybody from the government or from the BJP. If honestly those who lead yatras for their political satisfaction or to affirm to the people of India that beyond the age of 50 they are politically serious as entities, why not invite them on an open-air discussion on Times Now? Only between a time, they might not like you, maybe you get another anchor. You have a freewheeling session with people of this country and them and ask them specifics on what they think that they have as an agenda offering. Can you strengthen an economy by demonizing success? Can you strengthen an economy by demonizing aspiration? Can you strengthen an economy by bringing to disrepute those who do well? Can you strengthen an economy by being politically so unstable that you will resurrect policy decisions that will drive you bankrupt as a nation just so that you can meet with meager political success?
But it is political season. We are seeing the run up to the
political.
2024
It's
elections.
always political season. And if there is one message from Davos, it is that global leaders in investment or in polity believe Modi is back in 24 as well.
So that is
the political stability they are assured of.
आप कह रहे हैं कि Davos के stage पर लोग समझते हैं कि
there is going to
मोदी
be
वापस
consistency in political leadership in India. Yes, I haven't found anybody who's a naysayer. And that is what makes India an ideal destination for investment. One, that democracy has delivered. Two, digital transformation has delivered. And three, there is consistency in the reform agenda. But most importantly, the Modi magic will be seen in 24.
स्मृति ईरानी जी, यूक्रेन और रशिया की हमने हल्की सी बात की थी. मैं इस पर दोबारा पूछना चाहूंगी कि इस वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम में कितनी चिंता है इस वॉर की और इसके ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट ग्रोथ ऑफ डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज और रिसेशन की बातें हो रही हैं.
देखिए, हमने पहली बार वर्ल्ड स्टेज पे और डोमेस्टिकली भी जयशंकर जी ने इस पे विस्तार से बोला है. We have prioritized India's needs and we have done so abashedly. We haven't done it meekly. There have been many who have tried to push us against the wall so that we are apologetic in our position with regards to this particular issue. The Prime Minister has said that this is not an era for war. But I think that the External Affairs Minister has very succinctly put India's position on the world stage. Yes, it brings about disruptions. Normally such kind of conflicts do have a disruptive impact over a long period of time. But what is it that you're assured of? You're assured that India will be a part of the solution. You're assured that India will be a part of humanitarian build-up back of processes which help all nations at large. And that is why, and I'm again circling back to the G20 presidency, when the Prime Minister speaks, and he spoke very eloquently about the G20 agenda and India's presidency, he also spoke about becoming a leading voice for the Global South. That the G20 experience will not be limited to just the G20 coalition. That it should be a coalition that benefits all nations across the world.
But one of your senior ministers has made a statement: by June we may be in the throes of recession. Is that
the finance minister?
Is there a sense that you get from the talks that are happening at the World Economic Forum that that's a reality we are grappling with?
There is a takeaway that I individually have, and obviously you at times now recognize I'm not the finance minister or the commerce minister. There is a sense that I go back that one of the most trying economic times were when we were hit by the pandemic. Given the large populace that we have, we were not expected to be a deliverer not only of solutions domestically, but also become a kind of a bridge for delivery of pharmacological services for over 150 countries. And one thing which is unique about India and which is standing us in good stead here at Davos is that when the back of the world was against the wall, especially on issues of healthcare, especially on issues of vaccine, especially on issues of supply of medicine, India never commercially exploited that compulsion. India led and collaborated with compassion. And I think that intervention of the Prime Minister, which again was very humane, is much appreciated at Davos.
स्मृति, the other issue and ये एक मुद्दा है जो शायद चुनाव में भी बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा होगा, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट। किसानों की आय जो दुगनी करने की बात थी, ये माइलस्टोन्स अभी अचीव नहीं हुए हैं।
2-3 चीजें नाविका जी उसमें। पहले एमएसपी ऑपरेशन सबसे सक्सेसफुल अगर पिछले 10-15 सालों में हुए तो वो 8 साल की मोदी सरकार में हुए। मतलब फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस को भी संरक्षण अगर दिया तो मोदी सरकार ने दिया। दूसरा, हम ये याद रखें कि जब हम एमएसपी ऑपरेशंस की बात करते हैं, हमारी फूड सिक्योरिटी की बात करते हैं, फार्मर की इनकम को डबल करने की बात करते हैं, हमारे पास 2 वर्षों का वैश्विक एक छंद रहा जहां पे डिसरप्शंस हर जगह हुए, लेकिन एग्रीकल्चरल ग्रोथ कहीं भी स्टैग्नेट नहीं हुई। आपने देखा कि सरकार और कृषि क्षेत्र का समन्वय उसमें विस्तार हुआ। दूसरा, साथ ही हमने प्रौद्योगिकी, टेक्नोलॉजी का इंटरवेंशन एग्रीकल्चर में उसको और बढ़ावा दिया। कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र की स्थापना हो, एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में काम को बढ़ाने का प्रधानमंत्री का सुझाव हो, उनका नेतृत्व हो। लेकिन दोबारा आपसे कहती हूँ, कोऑपरेटिव मिनिस्ट्री के माध्यम से जो नया कोलिशन ऑफ कोऑपरेटिव स्पेशली इन एग्रो बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री हो रहा है एक्सपोर्ट की दृष्टि से, वो न सिर्फ काबिले तारीफ है बल्कि कहीं ना कहीं काबिले चिंतन भी है। क्योंकि पहली बार हम सरकार को देख रहे हैं, आज तक जो चर्चा रही वो इस पे रही कि एग्रो प्रोसेसिंग में क्या करेंगे। सरकार अब ये भी कह रही है कि प्री प्रोसेसिंग स्टेज पे आप क्या करेंगे ताकि आपका एग्रो आउटपुट का वेस्टेज कम हो। तो दोबारा कह रही हूँ, ग्लोबली डिस्ट्रप्शंस हैं फाइनेंशियली, हेल्थ की दृष्टि से, लेकिन पॉजिटिविटी का अगर सूर्य उगा है तो हिंदुस्तान से उगा है। That we became the 5th largest economy, irrespective of trying times, is a huge tribute to Indian resilience, fortitude and talent.
स्मृति जी, बहुत से राज्यों की भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन है दावोस में, शायद तमिलनाडु से और तेलंगाना से और कई और राज्यों से भी लोग आए हैं, कुछ मुख्यमंत्री भी आने की बात है। लेकिन चाहे आप नरेंद्र मोदी देख लें या कुछ अन्य चीफ मिनिस्टर्स हैं, आप जानती हैं मैं किन की बात कर रही हूँ, बॉयकॉट कॉल उनके नाम पर हो जाता है कि भाई अगर योगी है तो इकोनॉमी में क्या करना, इन्हें नहीं जाना चाहिए। आपको लगता है ये डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स और डिविजन?
मैं दोबारा कह रही हूँ, समन्वय का सबसे बड़ा प्रतीक हमारी देश की न सिर्फ अर्थव्यवस्था बल्कि प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था में एक छोटा सा कार्यक्रम है जो शायद टाइम्स नाउ ने कभी तवज्जो ना दी हो। उसका नाम है प्रगति, जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री स्वयं प्रदेश की सरकारों के साथ और चीफ सेक्रेटरीज के साथ हर महीने उनकी मुलाकात रहती है कि आप बताएं इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का कहाँ कौन सा, और इसमें वो राज्य भी सम्मिलित हैं जहाँ पर बीजेपी की सरकार नहीं है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का ऐसा कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट है जिसमें आपको लगता है कहीं गतिरोध है, उस गतिरोध को हम लोग हटा सकते हैं। ये समन्वय का प्रतीक गत 8 वर्षों से चला आ रहा है। मैं दोबारा कह रही हूँ, डावोस में इट इज द इंडिया स्टोरी। यस, देयर आर मेनी स्टेट्स that are trying to push a state specific agenda. It is welcomed by everybody, but ultimately the message here is India is open for business, and the message here is that India's growth story, and at the altar of reform, India never sacrificed the interest of inclusive growth.
लेकिन जब डिवाइसिव एजेंडा जो पॉलिटिक्स का है वो यहाँ तक पहुँचता है, तो क्या ये भारत की सही इमेज बनाता है?
मैं इतना ही कहूँगी कि जो लोग चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में इन्वेस्टमेंट एटमॉस्फेयर को वो आहत करें, उनसे कहना चाहूँगी कि यहाँ पर जो कैप्टन्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री आए हैं वो हम नहीं जानते किसको वोट देते हैं, हम नहीं जानते उनकी पॉलिटिकल अलाइनमेंट्स क्या हैं, लेकिन निश्चित रूप से एक स्वर में यही कह रहे हैं, कम इन्वेस्ट इन इंडिया, वी हैव द लार्जेस्ट स्किल फोर्स इन द वर्ल्ड, we have a new education policy, we have new opportunities not only in agriculture, not only in food processing, not only in health, but green energy. We have now the world's biggest hydrogen mission, which now not only has a climate agenda, but also a job agenda. So यहाँ पे फर्क नहीं पड़ता आप हिंदुस्तान के किस क्षेत्र से हैं, आपकी क्या हिंदुस्तानी पॉलिटिक्स है, यहाँ एक ही चीज़ सर्वसम्मति से सब कह रहे हैं, that India is the ideal destination for investment.
आपने कहा लेबर फोर्स हमारे लिए एक एडवांटेज है, लेकिन एक डिसएडवांटेज अगर हम उतनी जॉब्स प्रोवाइड ना कर सके जितनी इस देश को जरूरत है।
दूसरी बात जो मुझे शायद इसी से संलग्न करनी है, आई थिंक दैट व्हेन यू लुक एट पीपल ओनली फ्रॉम अ पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ अ लेबर मार्केट, you do a great amount of injustice to their entrepreneurial presence, talent, aptitude, if you may so call it, or opportunity for that matter. Are we to be reduced only as workers? So I think what is the new agenda in India which the Prime Minister is personally driving? How many SMEs can we help move to mid-sized companies? How many mid-sized companies can become large corporations? That is where the future of Indian enterprise lies.
वन मैसेज जो आप डेवॉस से भारत तक भेजना चाहें।
डिवोर्स में भी एक ही चीज कहूंगी, मोदी है तो मुमकिन है।
स्मृति ईरानी जी हमारे साथ डेवॉस में टेलिंग अस अबाउट हाउ इंडिया इज बीइंग लुक्ड एट एंड व्हाट इज द शेप ऑफ द इंडिया स्टोरी एंड द कॉन्फिडेंस इन इट। फ्रॉम डेवॉस एट द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, दिस इज नाविका कुमार फॉर टाइम्स नाउ एंड टाइम्स नाउ नव भारत।
Good evening and welcome to debate number 2. Now, Narendra Modi, the vote magnet of the BJP, has given a 2024 message to Karyakartas. He's urged one and all in the Saffron Party to go full throttle as there are only 400 days to go for the mother of all poll battles. Putting Samaj Niti over Rajniti, PM Modi has urged all workers to work hard as Modi alone can't guarantee a win. He said that BJP is leading Bharat into Sarvottam Kal and that Amrit Kal must be turned into Vikas Kal. Listen in to Devendra Fadnavis detailing the PM's 2024 vision for BJP.
प्रधानमंत्री जी का उद्बोधन ये प्रेरक भी था, दिशा दर्शक भी था और भविष्य की राह दिखाने वाला था। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो कही वो ये थी कि भारत के जीवन का सर्वोत्तम काल आ रहा है, हम सामने देख रहे हैं। ऐसे समय हम लोग मेहनत में पीछे न रहे, प्रयत्नों की पराकाष्ठा करें, अपने जीवन का क्षण क्षण और अपने शरीर का कण कण हम भारत की इस विकास गाथा में लगाए और भारत के इस सर्वोत्तम काल के साक्षी हम लोग बन सकते हैं।
PM is an incorruptible leader who works for the party is what was stated there. The BJP in fact has slammed opposition's negative campaign to personally target PM Modi. Through a political resolution, the Saffron Party has rained fire in the anti-BJP bloc, saying that crushing legal responses have blunted the opposition's campaign. Listen in to the Finance Minister.
हल्के भाषा में या अब्यूसिव लैंग्वेज के साथ, नेगेटिव टोन के साथ प्रधानमंत्री जी को व्यक्तिगत नीचे दिखाते हुए भाषा के साथ बार बार जो नेगेटिव कैंपेन होते रहा, उन सब में लीगली कोर्ट एक के बाद दूसरा करके सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक मामला हर एक बार गया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हर एक बार उन 9 मुद्दे के ऊपर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के द्वारा नेगेटिव डिसीजन, मतलब ऑपोजिशन के खिलाफ डिसीजन जो हुआ, पेगासस, सिमिलरली राफेल, ये एनफोर्समेंट तीसरी एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट द्वारा मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का केसेस चलाना और एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट के ऊपर ही केसेस लगवाना और उसके ऊपर प्रश्न चिन्ह उठाना, इन सब के ये तीसरी। फोर्थ, सेंट्रल विस्ता के ऊपर कितने टीका टिप्पणी करने वाले, बेबुनियाद आरोप करने वाले ऑपोजिशन को सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक मामला गया और उधर सटीक जवाब मिला। और इकोनॉमिक बेसिस के ऊपर रिजर्वेशंस, वो 5वीं और 6ठी डीमोनेटाइजेशन। सो ऑपोजिशन हर बार पर्सनलाइज्ड कैंपेन और बेबुनियाद आरोप चलाते हुए आखिर जब मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गया, उनके बात साफ सुथरा हुआ।
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us live with us is Tuhin Sinha, who's the national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Raghunathan is an author who's also joining us on the broadcast. We have with us Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC. But I first and foremost want to go across to Tehseen Poonawala, a political analyst who's with us on the broadcast as well. Tehseen, the direct charge coming in from the government, from the BJP, is that this is an opposition that is using lies to target or tarnish the reputation of the government, and you've tried even in the courts, but even the courts have not approved any of the charges that have been made, whether it's Demo, whether it's Rafale, or any number of other cases such as even Central Vista.
Right. So first 2 points, good evening and thank you for having me on the show. Out of the cases that the most Honorable Finance Minister listed and targeting the opposition, I filed 2 of those cases in the Honorable Supreme Court, and I have no doubt in saying that those judgments went against me. But I, like others, bowed down before the magistrate of the court and he accepted the judgment. The question is, who are the judges who gave the judgment? Who came through the collegium system? If the collegium system is so fair that is ruling in favor of the government, even when opposition is putting, as per the government, fake cases, then why do you want to change the collegium system? Can the BJP answer that? It's ruling in its favor. Point number 2. Look, the question out here is that is the fact that the Vice President of India said something stunning, that the basic structure of our constitution can be changed. Is that not a matter for all of us, including courts, to be alarmed for what governors are doing and crossing the line of legality and morality? The same bill that is passed in Karnataka and the governor.
But there are leaders from the Congress also who've come out to say that, in fact, this system of collegium has to change, that governments must have a say. And in fact, in the past, the Congress governments have spoken about the need for government representation on those panels. Isn't that also a fact?
Yes, it has. But where it is different, or where it is differing from, is that the collegium system is today the best system that we have available. The NJAC system that was brought before the Honorable Supreme Court is struck it down. And once that's struck down, you will have to come up with something law. Simply saying that the collegium system is not working, therefore the government must be on board, when government is a litigant to 50% of the cases. One last thing. Okay. I have a simple proposal. Why can't the government come in with a proposal where for the Supreme Court, you have an examination like you have an examination for all judges?
Right.
And the best, most meritorious judges come in. Why can't you do that?
All right. We need a better system. Let me bring in Tuhin Sinha. Let me bring in Tuhin Sinha on that. Tuhin Sinha, charge coming in from Tehseen is that if the courts are in fact giving judgment after judgment, validating whatever the government has done, why then is the government trying to put this pressure on the Supreme Court? Slightly different from our topic of debate, but quick answer to that, and I get back to the larger question, which is 2024. Tuhin Sinha.
I think the debate is very specifically on the political resolution, so I'm not mandated to speak on the particular issue where Tehseen would want me to speak. So let me focus on the particular political resolution which was ripped apart. Let me focus.
No, but Tuhin, that's a fair question, because you are saying the Supreme Court is validating. Nirmala Sitharaman
blamed the Congress party for stalling the development of the.
Nirmala Sitharaman said that whatever was raised by opposition parties was upheld by Supreme Court in terms of what the government's position is. So his question is related to that. He's just saying if that is the case, then why is it that the government is asking for a change as far as the status quo in terms of the selection process is concerned?
No, because all pillars of democracy eventually have to have a certain accountability, and if accountability is being infused, I don't see why Tehseen should have a problem. But coming back to what the debate is about, let me point out specific instances that we have mentioned. On Rafale, the Congress tried its best to stall the Rafale deal. What eventually happened? Not only did Rahul Gandhi have to apologize to the Supreme Court for a false statement which he attributed to the Supreme Court, today HAL, which he denigrated and vilified day in and day out, is one of the leading defense exporters in the world. So this is the transformation which the BJP has brought in the country in the last few years. Again, on the issue of Central Vista, the Congress tried to stall that without acknowledging the fact that by 2026, any which way, India will need to have at least 30 to 35% more MPs. Where will they be accommodated? They tried to do the same on the issue of EWS.
Okay.
They tried to do the same on the issue of demonetization. And one of the byproducts of demonetization, the UPI is today, something which the world wants to emulate. There are at least half a dozen countries which want India to impart that technology to them.
Okay.
So I mean, the transformation which we have brought about is unprecedented. The difference between the opposition and between the BJP and opposition today is having a vision for the country and being obsessed with self-aggrandizement. It is the difference between Vikas and Vinash. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let me bring in Riju Datta on that one. Riju Datta, on number of issues, whatever the opposition has said has proved to be wrong, whether it is demo, whether it is Rafale, whether it's Central Vista, and not only have the people but also the courts have actually validated that. Quick response.
See, the question is, where does the opposition stand in this country? What value do we have? Because whenever we raise our voice, we are coined as anti-nationals. But my question is, above all, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, the Vishwaguru, for whom the country voted, what are the 4 promises that he made in 2014? 2 crore jobs, doubling farmers' income, bullet train in India, and pakka houses to everybody in this country. Has any of them come true? So when the Honorable Prime Minister of India cannot keep his promises in 8 years and all his party does is lies and lie some more, so it is very clear that in 2024 it is going to be the people's issue versus BJP's propaganda. We wanted a united India. The opposition is united on people's issue. We will raise our voices for the benefit of the people. Let the BJP do Mandir, Masjid, Hindu, Muslim, and let the people of this country decide who they want this country to take them forward.
All right, Anand Ranganathan, both sides calling each other liars, both sides saying that it is the other side that is lying. Where do the people of India, where will they look? And who is really misrepresenting facts?
Good evening, Madhav. You mean to say, jaye to jaye, kahan kare to kare kahanyo. But, first of all, good evening to you and all my fellow panelists. Madhav, let me put it very simply. The tragedy of this nation is that while we are cursed with the kind of opposition that we have, the BJP is blessed with it. Every single decision of the BJP that is in national interest is opposed by the opposition. And every single decision of the BJP that is against the national interest is supported by the opposition. Kare to kare kya, jaye to jaye kahan, wah Modi ji wah. There is no doubt that the Modi government has done some great work over the last 8 years, and that is in national interest. But the opposition has, far from praising it, outraged on it. Like the Balakot strike, the OROP, Swachh Bharat, Ujjwala, Ayushman, Rafale, CA, 370, COVID vaccines, all these have been opposed and outraged upon. While all the decisions of the BJP that are against national interest, the opposition supports. Let me explain. I want to give data here because it's very important. Because Modi said, Chaukidar hum hai. We are Chaukidar. So he may not listen to the opposition, but he better listen to us. भले हम छोटे हैं मोदी जी, लेकिन हम चौकीदार हैं. Number 1, we have 1830 public sector units, Madhav. Quarter of them are non-functional. The economist Karan Bhasin and I recently dug all this information out. A fifth of our annual budgetary allocation of 30 lakh crores goes in propping up PSUs, except Air India. There has been zero privatization. The PSUs that are sold are bought by other PSUs, PFC, LIC, NTPC buying REC, Coal India, TDSC, NIPCO. But who object to them being sold? Yes, Congress. 2, nationalized banks are rife with corruption and have NPAs totaling 6 lakh crores. But who objects to their privatization? Who supports capital infusion? Yes, Congress.
Okay.
3, there is no incentive for private companies to set up shop because of zero land reforms. But who blocked the land acquisition bill? Yes, Congress. 4, average state debt to GSDP is 35%, highest in 15 years. But who supports loan waivers and freebies? Yes, the Congress. 5, agriculture contributes only 13% to our GDP. Yet 44% of our 485 million strong labor force is involved in it. In the West, it is 2%. Production to purchase the entire chain is archaic, almost medieval. But who objected to the farm reforms? Yes, Congress. 6, Modi once derisively called Manrega as gadde khodna. But who praised Modi when he increased Manrega budget multifold? Yes, the Congress. Finally, Madhav, on unemployment, because it's very important. And here, the tragedy really hits you. 91% of our labor force is in the informal sector. The only data we have is through EPFO, the formal sector jobs, or a ramshackle 5-year NSSO survey. One cannot have a meaningful discussion, academic or political, on jobs unless we know how many jobs were created per ready labor force every year during the UPN and the NDA. 10 seconds. All else is finger pointing. Indian scientists can send a satellite to Mars, but Indian economists cannot furnish simple info. Just 10 seconds. Madhav, please listen. Sadly, we will never leapfrog, because we don't have governments that think of national interest. We are a welfare state banking on socialism, not capitalism. Our frog doesn't leap. It remains in the well and keeps croaking that one day it will leap. One day it will leap.
All right. Let me bring in Tehseen on that note. Tehseen, one of the points that was made today is the entire phrase of governance of saturation. And clearly, with the Prime Minister sounding the poll bugle, asking the Karyakartas to take the 2024 message out, he's urging all of them to go full throttle as there are just 400 days to go. This is going to be one of the key themes that the government will be hoping will, in fact, win it in 2024 for them.
The government can hope anything, but like the TMC spokesperson rightly said, at the end of the day, this government is going to lose and the opposition is going to come to government. The people of India are fed up. Anand, and I broadly agree with Anand, because economically I'm right of the center, not left of the center. So I broadly agree with the points Anand made. Anand, my dear friend, which was the government at Tom? 80% of the country is getting free ration, when actually ration was being supplied at a bare minimum price under the Food Security Act at 3 rupees, 2 rupees and 1 rupees. The Narendra Modi government, that is not social. Please, Anand, don't interrupt me. Which was the government that got cash into parliament when the nuclear deal was signed, which gave us a waiver in the 123 agreement, which was something that no other country in the world had got. The Bharatiya Janata Party, which was the government that said FDI in real estate, FDI in retail is wrong and we will not allow it over a dead body. When in parliament, Chidambaram, as finance minister, said 60% of the Indian economy is in agriculture, which contributes less than 12% to the GDP. The Bharatiya Janata Party, which was the government that opposed DBT on Aadhaar and said DBT and Aadhaar is a attack on the federal structure of the country. The Honorable Chief Minister Narendra Modi. Today you do a U-turn. I am asking you, Anand, hold on. I am asking you, I oppose the farm laws. You are the most powerful man in the world. Who asked you to take it back? How long will you blame the opposition? For 8 years you've been in government. If you're talking that PSUs are sucking money, you should shut them.
I think that question should go to Tuhin Sinha. All right, I'm going to take that question. Anand, I can see your hand going up, but I want Tuhin to respond to that. Tuhin Sinha, if the governance track record of this government is so unblemished, then why bring in the farm laws, keep them for a year, and if it is such a landmark reform, why then withdraw it after 1 year? Tuhin Sinha.
No, farm laws is the only law where we went back on it because we were sensitive to the concerns of the people. Let me answer 2 or 3 questions that have been raised over here.
In the first term.
The land acquisition was way back in 2004. I think, a lot of...
14,
the fact is that this government has done something which has done things which no other government has done, whether it is... So the point, Madhav, over here is that there are 2 or 3 very valid questions which have been raised by some of the panelists. Allow me to answer that. When the government spends 7.5 lakh crores on capex on a single budget, an unprecedented figure, it is impossible that signifies jobless growth. This is something which Tehseen and other people need to agree with. At the same time, when it comes to government employment, look at the ESIC data of the last 3 years.
We'll have to leave it there, Tuhin. We are completely out of time. Riju Datta, Anand Ragnathan, Tehseen Poonawala, thank you so much, gentlemen. We are completely out of time, unfortunately, on this debate. But clearly, the poll bugle has been sounded. The national capital, the mercury may be dipping to 1.4 degrees. But the fact is that the political temperature couldn't be hotter than this, with both the BJP, with its national executive announcing really the face and the plans for 2024. At the same time, the Congress going ahead with its Bharat Jodo Yatra full steam. We'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us on the News Hour this evening.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
इनकेस आप मिलेनियम वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार। सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे ये गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं, एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं है बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में है तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है, हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था। ये है BYD की Atto 3 और क्या परफॉर्मेंस, क्या रेंज, क्या डिजाइन, क्या फीचर्स BYD अपने इस इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में दे रहा है, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस वीडियो में। और वीडियो के अंत में हमेशा की तरह बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट सो धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगे इस BYD Atto 3 के बारे में। तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं। तो शुरुआत कर लेते हैं इस Atto 3 के डिजाइन वाले एस्पेक्ट से। तो फ्रंट में BYD ये कहना है ये गाड़ी का डिजाइन जो है ओवरऑल ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड है, चाइनीज ब्रांड है, तो कुछ वैसा ही एसेंस BYD कह रही है हमने इस गाड़ी के डिजाइन और स्टाइलिंग में देने की कोशिश करी है। हालांकि ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड तो मुझे फ्रंट ज्यादा नहीं लग रहा है, बट फिर भी यहाँ पे सेंटर में बड़ा सा BYD का लोगो है, क्रोम का एलिमेंट दिया गया है थ्रू आउट जो जाता है इसके फ्रंट हेडलाइट के ऊपर से सेंटर तक। एंड हेडलाइट जो है क्रिस्टल LED कॉम्बिनेशन लाइट्स यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही हैं। एंड DRL देख रहे हैं, देखने में खूबसूरत ही काफी लग रहा है। इसका फ्रंट जो लाइट का सेक्शन है काफी स्लीक कॉम्पैक्ट इसका हेडलाइट का डिजाइन लग रहा है। एंड जो टर्न इंडिकेटर्स हैं वो भी इसके DRL में ही इंटीग्रेटेड हैं, तो यहाँ पे जब इसको टर्न इंडिकेटर ऑन होंगे तो ये DRL टर्न इंडिकेटर का काम भी करेगा। इसके अलावा इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी है तो फ्रंट में कुछ यहाँ पे इवेंट वगैरह देखने को नहीं मिलेगा, ऑब्वियस है। एंड इसमें जो है ADAS लेवल 2 के फीचर्स देख सकते हैं आप, यहाँ सेंसर्स वगैरह, रेडार वगैरह यहाँ पे इसमें देखने को मिल रहा है। एंड 360 डिग्री कैमरा यहाँ पर इस BYD की Atto 3 में इधर दिया गया है। साइड प्रोफाइल पे आए तो यहाँ पर जो टायर्स इसमें दिए गए हैं वो हैं 18 इंच के 215 सेक्शन के टायर्स दिए गए हैं। एंड यहाँ पे जो डिज़ाइन है एलॉयस का ये भी थोड़ा स्पोर्टी स्टाइलिश देखने में जरूर लग रहा है। BYD का हब यहाँ पे सेंटर में दिया गया है व्हील में। एंड ओवरऑल जो यहाँ पे डिज़ाइन है, यहाँ पे क्लैडिंग थ्रू आउट जाती हुई आपको पीछे तक इसमें देखने को मिलेगी।
You're watching the news hour at 9. The news hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे अनबॉक्स। Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे। Let's begin. फोन अनबॉक्स हो चुका है। जैसे कि आपने देखा यहाँ पर स्टिकर उतारते हुए मैंने ऐसे थोड़ा सा गंद मचा दी। यहाँ पे स्टिकर ऑलरेडी दिखाई दे रहा है, बट इसको क्लीन करेंगे बाद में। अभी बात करेंगे स्मार्टफोन के बारे में। थोड़ा सा मुझे वेट इसका ज्यादा लग रहा है, वो यूज करने के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये कितना कंफर्टेबल है। अदर देन दैट यू गेट 3 कैमराज एट द बैक। इसको आपको मिलेगा स्क्वायरिश कैमरा मॉड्यूल के अंदर। द मेन कैमरा इज 108 मेगापिक्सल और यही इसका यूएसपी है। सिर्फ बैक कैमरास की बात नहीं है बॉस, आपको फ्रंट कैमरा भी बहुत ही धांसू दिखाई दे रहा है। एटलीस्ट ऑन द स्पेक शीट यूज करने पे पता चलेगा कि कितना अच्छा है या नहीं अच्छा है। फ्रंट कैमरा जो इसका है वो आपको मिलता है 60 मेगापिक्सल का फ्रंट शूटर। आपको इसमें दिखाई देगा फुल HD प्लस एमोलेड पैनल। बेजल्स थोड़े से मुझे मोटे दिखाई दे रहे हैं, टॉप और बॉटम वाला स्पेशली। साइड बेजल्स आर स्टिल स्लिम। What keeps this smartphone alive is Helio G99 chipset. बैटरी की बात करें तो इसमें आपको मिलता है 45 वॉट का फास्ट चार्जिंग सिस्टम, which is pretty good. At the bottom, you also get a 3.5 mm headphone jack, and that is very interesting क्योंकि आजकल के फोन में ये आपको बिल्कुल दिखाई नहीं देता है. So you do not have to just rely on your wireless earbuds. आप यहाँ पर अपने वायर्ड हेडफोन्स का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. स्पीकर के साथ आपको मिलता है टाइप सी पोर्ट, ऊपर की तरफ माइक्रोफोन है, राइट साइड पे आपको मिलता है वॉल्यूम रॉकर और साथ में पावर बटन. लेफ्ट साइड इज प्रीटी क्लीन, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको मिलता है सिम ट्रे और सिम इंजेक्टर टूल बॉक्स में आपको मिलता है, वो मैं दिखा चुकी हूँ. यहीं पर सिम ट्रे की बात करते करते मेरी नजर गई है फ्रेम पर, विच इज प्रीटी ग्लॉसी. मेटल तो नहीं है लेकिन ऐसा फील जरूर दे रहा है दैट इट्स मेटल. बाकी ये था मेरा ओवरऑल लुक एट द स्मार्टफोन. अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या आपको ये खरीदना चाहिए एट अराउंड ₹20,000-25,000, क्या ये अच्छा ऑप्शन है या नहीं, उसके लिए यू रियली नीड टू स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स टू फाइंड आउट इट्स फुल रिव्यू. नाउ यू गाइज नो द ड्रिल. लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब एंड जस्ट स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो.
You clever, you make for more. You wanna more, and you can take me to
Good evening and welcome. You are watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. It's a toolkit that was used for quite a while against Narendra Modi when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and now it seems that the same toolkit has been unleashed on Yogi Adityanath. Even as the World Economic Forum is underway in Davos, a letter has been written by 16 pressure groups saying that Yogi Adityanath must not be allowed at the global event. Why? Apparently because he is a notorious political figure known for quote-unquote sowing hate and division, and that he is a proponent of violent Hindu supremacist politics. This, say these 16 organizations, is enough reason to not only stop Yogi Adityanath from participating in the World Economic Forum, but also to stop any company from taking any investment to Uttar Pradesh. Now, this letter that has been signed by these 16 outfits includes the Alliance of Progressive Indians in New Zealand, Boston South Asian Coalition, Coalition Against Fascism in India, Indian American Muslim Council, and the Indian Muslim Council of Carolina. This letter says that as the World Economic Forum gathers hundreds of potential partners, investors and policy makers, it is imperative for them to be aware that Yogi Adityanath's participation is a blatantly cynical attempt to present him as a reliable economic partner. They refer to the state's Global Investors Summit to reiterate that Adityanath's consistent attacks and hateful rhetoric against minorities cannot be forgotten in the name of economic profit of the elite. So basically, the effort is this, that any investment should be stopped from coming into Uttar Pradesh to stop its people from getting any economic benefits. Why? Because they think that any investment to Yogi will only strengthen his so-called Hindu supremacist politics. And yet, strangely, but maybe not surprisingly, there are those in India who support this call.
उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी को टारगेट करके एक फेक नैरेटिव गढ़ने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है. ऐसे लोग उत्तर प्रदेश आकर के देखें कि कैसे प्रधानमंत्री जी के सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबके प्रयास के मूल मंत्र पर आज विकास की योजनाओं में सबको शामिल किया जा रहा है. आज कानून व्यवस्था सुदृढ़ होने का सबसे ज्यादा लाभ अकलियत को मिल रहा है. आज विकास की योजनाओं का सर्वाधिक लाभ आज मुसलमानों को मिल रहा है. ऐसे में ये फेक नैरेटिव जमीन पर असर नहीं करते.
Nobody can object a sitting chief minister attending a World Economic Forum summit in Davos. Having said that, I would also like to bring to the notice that it's also a fact that his antecedents of the way he has treated minorities, presided over communal and polarizing kind of atmosphere and communal riots and all, shows what he is. So, but that cannot stop him from attending a economic forum meet in Davos as a chief minister.
So, is this the final gambit? Those who could not defeat Yogi Adityanath in elections are now putting their might behind discrediting him. And who are these lobby groups really to stop a democratically elected chief minister from seeking investment for his state? And by asking people to not invest in Uttar Pradesh, are these pressure groups in the name of human rights actually trying to punish the people of Uttar Pradesh for their crime of voting for Yogi Adityanath?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Shazia Ilmi, BJP national spokesperson, Syed Rizwan Ahmed, lawyer, Ziba Yasmin, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, Kamar Zaman Chaudhary of the Congress, and Shoaib Jamai, India Muslim Foundation president. Shoaib Jamai, it seems, are the same group which just about 8 years ago, 2013, had Modi in their crosshairs, now has no love lost for Yogi Adityanath. Same toolkit. 65 people write a letter in 2013, Modi should not be given visa. Now 16 people, 16 groups write a letter in 2023 that Yogi should not be allowed. Why?
First of all, thank you, Padmaja, for counting me amongst those intellectuals and counting me amongst that Tukura gang. I am proud to be. Thank you. The thing is that, Padmaja, winning an election by any margin has nothing to do with the global soft image of a politician. It's a fact that the image of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is very tarnished, very sorry image in the global perspective. If you see, it's like just the image of the Benjamin Yatmir of...
Actually not, because Melinda Gates, by the way, has held up Yogi Adityanath's handling of the COVID pandemic as a model for the world. So it might be tarnished in your eyes, sir, but his handling of pretty much all governance issues has been lauded not by India, not by BJP, but by people who know their business.
It's not the parameter. Melinda Gates have a...
What is the parameter? Winning an election is not the parameter. Gates Foundation praising you is not a parameter. Having the maximum number of expressways is not a parameter. Having the largest airport in the country is not a parameter. What is a parameter? What the Indian American Muslim Council thinks is the parameter.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The global image of a politician is something very much different.
Who decides the image, bhai? Who decides the image?
Yes, it's decided by the global perspective and by the neutral aspect.
So Indian American Muslim Council is the neutral perspective.
If you see from a neutral angle, you can
the IMC, which asks for regime change in India, is the neutral perspective that we should believe. They will tell us whether Yogi Adityanath should get investment or not.
The image, the poster boy of the hate, the poster boy of the bigotry cannot be the soft political image of the...
Shazia Ilmi, whether you like it or not, he is the chief minister. And he is seeking investment for his state.
No, poster boy of development.
Cannot be the
political poster boy of development.
Cannot be the
of a state progressing.
Great nation India.
Can I come in, please?
Global platform. That's it.
So clearly, our friend here,
Shazia Ilmi,
clearly you have no answers. You have no unit of measurement when you talk about hate. You have no logical element to back your hatred and your bias and your bigotry that you're openly propagating right now. You have the parameters of development do not matter. The parameters of neutrality do not matter. The parameters of law and order do not matter. The parameters of economy and education do not matter. None of it matters. What matters is your opinion or opinion of a certain lobby which just finds itself completely out of its depth because they can't prove a single of their accusations.
So you can't
Yogi
defeat him.
ji
Now basically you fall back on the familiar. He is Hindu supremacist. So don't give him investment.
It would be the 5th largest country of the world.
And by the way, sir, you would know that this Hindu supremacist chief minister was praised by the chairman of Lulu Group, who opened a mall just last year and said that if there is an ease of doing business, it is more in Uttar Pradesh than Kerala. Shoaib Jamai. Such a Muslim hater he is.
Padmaja, all kind of parameters and the claims made by my colleague. Please let me respond, Shania. Please let me respond. Please let me respond. Have a civil debate.
And I think the actual communal lot were the Yadav gang and the Congress party, which is used a religion to as cannon fodder for their politics.
In the National Development Index.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So everyone talks about data. Let's talk data, sir. Here's the thing. It wasn't too long ago that Uttar Pradesh, unfortunately, used to make up the U in Bimaru. Now when you have Zeba Yasmin, the chief minister, going to Davos and saying get money for the people of this state. A bunch of people say, no, he is Hindu bigot, don't give him money. Even if that means that UP will be the one to suffer, the same UP, which now let me give you the statistics. As per CMIE, India's average unemployment rate in December 2022 was 8.3%. UP's unemployment rate is actually 4.3%. Today, on the day that we speak, madam, an AK-203 manufacturing facility has started working in Amethi. Based on a survey of 11 lakh MSME loan accounts, the state government has estimated that 3.28 crore jobs were generated in the sector over the past 5 years in Uttar Pradesh. This, madam, is the data which is an attempt to try and remove the U in Bimaru. But then we have a bunch of people who say, don't give him money. The people of UP are being punished for voting for this man, Zeba Yasmin.
Padmaja, he is a sitting chief minister, and if he is invited somewhere, nobody can stop him. What a bunch of people saying, that is a different thing. But Padmaja, here your role is, you have been mentioning all the achievements of UP government, but you did not criticize UP government on a single point. Media and opposition's role is to criticize UP government so that they can perform better. So wherever they are lagging behind, you should also mention that also along with the achievements. And what these bunch of people are saying, the allegations they are putting on Yogi ji, because before becoming a chief minister, before 2017, he had been charged under serious sections. That is why they are putting these things. That is, we cannot deny with that before 2017, Yogi Adityanath ji was charged under serious sections. He was involved in, he was accused in 2007 Gorakhpur riots, and his hatred speech that was much talked about. So we cannot deny that also. But yes, this platform is for investment, so that is a different platform, and nobody can stop him. He should go and think about the betterment of UP.
But that is exactly what is being done. That is exactly what is being done. He is not going there as Yogi Adityanath, a member of parliament of the BJP, or a leader of the BJP, or a spokesperson of the BJP. He is going there as the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. Any money that he gets, Syed Rizwan Ahmed, is for the people of Uttar Pradesh. But we are being told, no, this will legitimize this Hindu bigot. Don't give him money. Zeba Yasmin says he only has himself to blame. Mr. Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Number one, I am not here to give any achievement clarification to these people, some Maulana type people who are sitting, and clarify the stand of Yogi. I am not here for that. I will just answer a couple of points. You said, what is the parameter of being neutral? Right? When some Maulana was speaking, what is the parameter? I will tell you what is the parameter. Parameter is huge Roza Iftars, Topi, Modi Yogi kissing hands of Maulanas, funds for Muslim NGOs, and few Muslim journalists and intellectuals being awarded with some lucrative posts or awards like National Award or something. बस पद्मजा, बस इतना कर दो, ये सब खुश हो जाएंगे. The parameters what you are giving now, the bridge, the airport, the employment, they have nothing to do with this. No. They are just suffering because appeasement has been withdrawn. That is all. Simple. Number 2 point, Padmaja. Like the Maulana who was speaking, see, Modi and Yogi have reached a pedestal or a position in Indian politics where if you say they are Hindu militants, Modi and Yogi will gain politically. They will gain. Modi has survived on their abuses. Modi became Modi because he was called a chaiwala, a murderer of Gujarat. The more you abuse these two leaders, the more they will gain politically. The moment you say that no, their leadership is good, then also they gain politically.
But Mr. Ahmed, this is not about their political gains. Nobody here is to ask for them to gain politically or not. The thing is that here is a group of people who think it is their right to give certificates of secularism, to give certificates of whether somebody is a Hindu militant, a bigot, a supremacist, and if they do not qualify, they are saying, punish the people. Don't give money to this state.
But Padmaja, the point is, we are living in a democracy. Are there utterances affecting the ground, having any effect at the ground level? No. So they are only good for debates, what you call them, and we hear them out. On ground, they have no significance.
No, but it does.
It
does, sir. I beg to differ, because while politically it may not affect both these people, tomorrow if you've got even one investor who reads this open letter and says, oh, you know, human rights violations, civil rights abuses are happening in Uttar Pradesh, I don't want to invest in Uttar Pradesh. That is a real loss for the people.
Please hear me out. Padmaja, after all their utterances, did Modi suffer internationally? Did we suffer even after buying petrol from oil from Russia? We are a very powerful country now under Yogi and Modi, under Modi. Who can make us suffer internationally? These are irrelevant people coming in debates and getting a time on, getting a frame for themselves, photo opportunity. No value they have in India and abroad, anywhere. Anywhere.
Okay, Kamar Zaman Chaudhary.
G20.
This is living in a fool's paradise that you still have any kind of relevance or wield any kind of influence with your open letters.
No value, no relevance, no significance. No significance.
Kamar Zaman Chaudhary.
No, Rizwan bhai, samajh gaye baat.
Bunch of fools.
Yeah, let me speak. You know, somebody has said that India is no longer a democracy. Okay, I am very happy to be a fool because no, Rizwan bhai, I am very happy to be a fool because I belong to the majority 60% who did not vote for Modi and Yogi. Now please keep quiet. Let me answer to Padmaja. I am a fool because I did not vote for 60%. I belong to the 60%. Who did not vote for Modi and Yogi? Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
I am happy for you. Be happy.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Padmaja, coming to the moot question, let's not waste any more time. It's a short debate. You know, India's Vendam
is a loser. Cheer up.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Mubarak ho aapko. मुबारक हो रिजवान भाई. अरे उर्दू नाम वाले मुबारक हो भाई.
On a lighter note though, before you continue, Kamar Zaman Chaudhary, I hope at least you are in that 2.94 minority that voted for the Congress in West Bengal. But anyway, go on.
No, thank you. Padmaja, that was for Rizwan bhai, not for me. For you, it's a serious point of debate today.
Yes.
Because we need to understand these pressure groups that are working across the world, which seemingly seem to be opposing India's politicians, India's policies, or India's laws, or India's action on the ground. Are there any basis on that? Are there any facts on the ground? Because last 2 days ago, Human Rights Watch has released a report on the human right abuses in India. Are they totally baseless? Let me discount the entire report. But then the ground report, let's say Padmaja,
but Mr. Chaudhary, Human Rights Watch or IAMC or some council sitting in California, sitting in Boston, sitting in Melbourne is not going to decide. It is going to be Indian laws and Indian courts which are going to decide. They are not going to give us certificates that so and so is secular, so and so is democratic, so and so is a goon, so and so is a supremacist. Isko paisa do, isko mat do. Who the hell are you? These are people who will go and kiss the feet of dictators as long as their funding continues, and you will tell us what our democracy rating is. The same people who have gone to take money, oil money, from those who are accused of hounding civil rights activists will tell us that India is a bigoted country.
That I belong to.
It will be a cold day in June, sir. Cold day in June.
I am telling you one simple fact.
Yes.
No, Padmaja, coming to the basic point, let us make this debate very interesting, Padmaja, for one sec. Let me discount all these pressure groups, what they have been trying out here. Let me discount the Human Rights Watch. But is there any answer to the question that hundreds of people are languishing in jails because they dare to protest against the government on CAB? There are hundreds of people who are languishing in jails on false charges, which subsequently they have been acquitted by the courts of law, but they have lost 2 years, 3 years, 10 years in jail. Now, in a democracy, we need to question a government. We cannot be
in a democracy, we will question our government. The courts will decide the crimes, but no lobbyist and no pressure group is going to sit there and say that this person must be boycotted and X person should not be allowed. Mr. Rizwan, quick rebuttal from you. I want to bring in Shoaib Jamai again. Yes, quick rebuttal. Mr. Rizwan.
My second part.
No, quick response.
Padmaja, 30 seconds. Hold on, Mr. Chaudhary. Padmaja, see, I will give you a very simple test. Modi is a murderer. That is why Muslims have all the complaint against him. Yogi is a Hindu militant. That's why Muslims have all the complaint against him. Okay, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was such a wonderful person, soft-spoken, gentle. Padmaja, do you remember Muslims ever voting for Atal Bihari also? The answer is no. That is what I am trying to explain it to you. Under any condition, there will be a bunch of chest beaters. There will be a bunch of doing matam, be it Atal Bihari or be it Yogi. So what is the point in explaining these bunch of stupid people?
Arey, Samatal nahi hua. Who said this? That's why we did not vote for Vajpayee.
By the way, again, because you are from West Bengal, let me remind you that you are such a great person, your party is such a great party, but the Muslims of West Bengal didn't vote for the Congress. That is the irony, sir. But anyway, Shoaib Jamai. Yes, Shoaib Jamai.
He's calling everybody fool.
पद्मजा, अगर इंटरनेशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है तो इंटरनेशनल रेटिंग मायने रखेंगे. अगर हम IMF से लोन रहते हैं तो इंटरनेशनल रेटिंग मायने रखते हैं.
नहीं सर, कहीं पर हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड मायने रखता है और इंटरनेशनल रेटिंग कोई रैंडम नहीं देगा. चलिए आप कोई एक इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड की रेटिंग होगी, ये थोड़ी ना है कि कोई इस्लामिक काउंसिल बॉस्टन कहेगा कि हम रेटिंग करेंगे. कौन हो भाई?
जहां जिस भी कंट्री में कोई चीज इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है, बड़ी कंपनी आती है, वो इंटरनेशनल वॉचडॉग के रेटिंग्स और रिपोर्ट्स को देखती है.
तो कोई ढंग का वॉचडॉग भी होना चाहिए ना. ऐसा थोड़ी ना कि कोई भी खड़े होकर कहते हम वॉचडॉग हैं जी.
एब्सोल्यूट, हमारे पास बहुत है. इंडिया इंटरनेशनल वॉचडॉग के तरीके से ही मैं बता रहा हूं.
अरे आपको बनाया किसने वॉचडॉग? Who are these organizations? First of all, what is their locus? What is their legitimacy? Boston South Asian Coalition against fascism, Insaf India, Justice for All Canada. Are who are you? Who are you to decide whether a chief minister of India is going to get investment or not? Whose watchdog are you? Who appointed you? Who asked for your information and your advice?
Okay. NCRB का डेटा देखेंगे तो टिल 2020 तक यूपी वाज द मैक्सिमम रेप केसेस वहां पे होते थे. सबसे ज्यादा जर्नलिस्ट को अगर पकड़ा गया है,
hold on a second. If I am not mistaken, NCRB का डेटा है तो मैक्सिमम क्राइम्स अगेंस्ट वुमेन एक्चुअली राजस्थान में है.
No.
मैक्सिमम क्राइम्स अगेंस्ट वुमेन राजस्थान में है सर.
सेकंड लार्जेस्ट उत्तर प्रदेश हो गया.
तो सेकंड लार्जेस्ट उत्तर प्रदेश है, पर उत्तर प्रदेश में इन्वेस्टमेंट मत करो. तो लिखे ना वो कि राजस्थान में मत करो इन्वेस्टमेंट बिकॉज वहां women are getting raped.
सुनिए, यहाँ पे कहा गया कि भाई bunch of fools, मुझे नहीं पता कि कोई सस्ता वकील साहब को कोई जवाब देने की जरूरत, सस्ते वकीलों को जवाब देने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये तो इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड,
Shazia Almi, you don't have to make up stories, right? Actually, the number of cases declined, and in fact, Rajasthan tops the list. And also look at the size of UP. And so you'll see that the kind of development that's happened, and the beneficiaries, so many beneficiaries are indeed Muslims, even disproportionate to the population, which just goes on to say and show that the previous governments of in Uttar Pradesh, that of Samajwadi Party and the like, and of course Congress many years back, were utterly communal and did not care at all for the rights of Muslims, so to speak. But the fact of the matter is that for the first time there is progress and development and a neutral law and order situation, and a tough one, and everybody is crying foul.
Here's the thing, that any case that has to be filed or tried against Yogi Adityanath or anyone in the BJP, in any other party, will be done by the courts of our country, will be decided by the laws of our country. But when somebody decides that a state should be boycotted only because of their political allergy to the man who leads it, here is what is denied, and this is data. The coverage of taps under Har Ghar Nal Yojana was 25% on the last day of 2022. 6 months ago in Uttar Pradesh, it was 12%. In 6 months, the coverage was increased to 25%. A defense industrial corridor is being set up with 2,422 crores investment. You've got an ODOP scheme. You've got ease of doing business, where Uttar Pradesh has gone from the 14th rank in 2016 to the 2nd rank in 2019. And all of these, my friend, will be hampered because of lobbyists and pressure groups who want to paint a man in their political color and punish the state that he leads for voting for him. No pressure group or lobbyist can be allowed to do that. Thanks very much, both ladies, Mr. Rizwan Ahmed, Shoaib Jamai, and Mr. Chaudhary, for joining me. It's a country that had promised to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. It's a country that promised a 1,000-year war on India. And today it's a country that broke, bruised and battered is begging that same India to come to the talks table. In an interview with a Dubai-based Arabic channel, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has now said that Pakistan has learnt its lesson from the 3 wars it fought with India and now wants to have serious and sincere quote-unquote talks. Of course, this desperate appeal for talks comes at a time when the country is fighting skyrocketing inflation and protests by citizens who have hit the streets against the army and the civilian government. Now, the beleaguered PM is seeking talks with India when the reality of their predicament has hit home.
And it is up to us to live peacefully and progress, or quarrel with each other and waste time and resources. That's up to us. Pakistan has learned its lesson. We had 3 wars with India, 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries, to the unemployment,
2 nations,
poverty, and millions were demoted from their level of satisfaction to a lower level of satisfaction. My message to the Indian leadership and Prime Minister Modi is that let's sit down on the table and have serious and sincere talks to resolve our burning issues.
For days now, distressing images have been coming out of Pakistan of people fighting over a sack of rice, of people running behind relief trucks only in order to buy some food. Now, widespread protests have broken out in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir over the dizzying price rise and the hardships. People took to the streets against the Pakistan army and said that the thieves must step down.
आटा महंगा न मंजूर, न मंजूर, न मंजूर। बिजली महंगी न मंजूर, न मंजूर। आटा महंगा न मंजूर, न मंजूर, न मंजूर। मुच्छा वाले, बेटा वाले, आटा महंगा, आटा महंगा, जोर हुकूमत, FIR गिराइए, आटा महंगा।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Shazia Almi continues with us. National spokesperson of the BJP, Captain Alok Bansal, director at India Foundation, Kamar Chima, defense analyst, Abdul Samad Yaqub, a spokesperson of PTI. My first question is naturally to Siddiq ul Farooq, senior leader of the PMLN. Mr. Farooq, have the hard truths hit home?
Pardon?
Have the hard truths hit home, sir? It was quite sad yet enlightening to see the Prime Minister of Pakistan today say we don't want to spend money on bombs. Just a couple of years ago, we had all the army chiefs saying we'll have nuclear war, we'll press the nuclear button, we are going to take away Kashmir, we'll take away Punjab. Now you can't afford bombs.
We have problems here in Pakistan, of course. But as far as the reality of nuclear power is concerned, that we are. That is there. And of course, due to certain problems, due to the involvement of establishment, we are facing certain problems. No denying the fact. But now we are improving.
Sir, with the greatest of respect, because you must be very comfortable understanding Hindi as well. Can't help but recall, there is a saying in Hindi which says, "Ghar mein nahi dane, amma chali bhunane." You barely have anything to eat, sir, and you're talking about being nuclear capable or having a nuclear war. There are people literally fighting for food.
As far as nuclear war is concerned, that is not difficult. But at the cost of millions of people, it is not difficult. But it needs two mad persons, one here and one there in your country. And we don't want to. Of course,
sir, your Prime Minister today is talking about having talks with India. Let me just ask you this. What brought about this sudden enlightenment?
It was an interview with an Arab channel, and I think when a question was asked, he answered it properly.
That is great, but what brought about the enlightenment? If I am not mistaken, just about 3 years ago, Bilawal Bhutto, your external affairs minister, had yelled into the mic saying, "हम लेंगे पूरा कश्मीर." अभी आपको पीओजेके में लोग कह रहे हैं कि हम भी नहीं रहना चाहते, कश्मीर तो बाद में आएगा।
ये बात इस तरह से नहीं है।
ऐसा ही है सर। बिलावल साहब तो कह रहे थे हम लेंगे कश्मीर, पूरा कश्मीर। आज पीओजेके में लोग कह रहे हैं कि पैंट वाले और मूछे वाले लूट करके भाग गए आपकी आर्मी।
अगर आप मुझे सुने और जरा आप मुदाखलत कम करें, इंटरवेंशन जरा कम करें, तो मैं जरा जवाब दे देता हूं।
बताइए।
तो जवाब देने कोई हर्ज नहीं। मैं ये अर्ज करना चाहता हूं, ये उर्दू में ठीक रहेगी बात?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर।
अच्छा, तो मैं ये अर्ज करना चाहता हूं कि प्रॉब्लम्स हमारे यहाँ हैं। हमारे यहाँ एस्टेब्लिशमेंट की मुदाखलत की वजह से बहुत से मसाइल हुए, जंगें लड़ी गई दोनों तरफ नुकसान हुआ। आज इस इंटरव्यू में जो बात शहबाज शरीफ साहब ने, वज़ीर आज़म ने की है, वो एक अकल की बात है, समझ की बात है। आपके वाजपेयी साहब ने भी ये बात की यहाँ पाकिस्तान आकर, यादगार पाकिस्तान पे, कि हम जंग नहीं होने देंगे। उसके बाद फिर कुछ
कैप्टन आलोक बंसल, so finally at least the gentleman from PMLN is saying कि उन्होंने आज अकल की बात की है। आज फाइनली अकल की तो बात हो रही है।
अकल की बात कई दफा हुई है।
सर या तो ये अकल की बात है कि यू कैन नॉट अफोर्ड वॉर, या वो अकल की बात थी जब इंडिया पे 1000 कट्स करने वाले थे, या तो जनरल नियाजी ने अकल की बात की थी, या शहबाज साहब अकल की बात कर रहे हैं।
मैं आपसे एक बात अर्ज करूं, ये जंग करना कोई मुश्किल नहीं है। ये न्यूक्लियर वार जो है, मैंने अभी कहा है, आप इस बात को शायद समझ नहीं रही माजरत से, कि न्यूक्लियर वार एक बटन दबाना है, कोई नहीं उधर से कोई दबाई है इधर से।
सर बटन दबाने वाले के पेट में खाना तो होना चाहिए, जब नहीं है कुछ खाना तो कैसे रहेगा बटन दबाना। एनी हाउ दिस इज बिकमिंग फार्सिकल। कैप्टन आलोक बंसल,
जंग खाने के बगैर हो जाती है, ये बात याद रखें।
चलिए खाने के बगैर ही आप जंग करेंगे। ओके कैप्टन आलोक बंसल, गुड टू नो सर। लेट द पीपल ऑफ योर कंट्री स्टार्व, यू गो टू वॉर। कैप्टन बंसल।
of Pakistani Prime Minister is very, very significant, and coming at a time, especially in Dubai, when he has said that we need to talk. I think it's a very welcome step. It actually stems probably for two reasons, because Shehbaz Sharif has often considered to be more pro-establishment than his brother, who has always been anti-establishment. Now, Shehbaz Sharif making this statement means two things. One is that I think he has realized that the salvation for Pakistan only lies in good relations with India, trade and economic relations, because at the moment Pakistan's economic condition is pretty bad. They have a huge foreign debt. The foreign exchange reserves have fallen below $4.5 billion, but for the largest from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and UAE, they would have defaulted by now. On the other hand, having supported Taliban to come to power in Afghanistan, they already have a major problem in the form of TTP. Today, this needs to be also correlated with the fact that China, for the first time, withdrew the technical hold on Makki, and he has been declared a global terrorist. Now, we need to link up these two issues. This also shows that China has also realized that salvation of Pakistan economically is not feasible. And I think China has started cutting its losses. And it is at this point of time the Shehbaz Sharif statement comes. Now, this could have only two reasons. One is that Shehbaz Sharif, being a sensible man, has realized that Pakistan's economic crisis can only be curtailed by trading and having a good relations with India. Or alternately, since he is close to the forces, maybe that armed forces of Pakistan probably want him to reach out to India at this point of time, and they are feeling pressure on both sides, both from the Western Front as well as from the Eastern Front, and economic crisis is staring them in the face. Because if Pakistan defaults, the armed forces also have a very major problem in hand. And I think that they realize. So one of the two things is there, and I think the coming few days will give you an idea whether it is with the support of the armed forces or it is a political leadership taking an initiative, because in past also, both Nawaz Sharif as well as Asif Ali Zardari have said on numerous occasions that let Kashmir be left for future generations. We should talk of trade and good relations.
But more importantly, the hand being forced by a very clear message from the streets. People are saying you can keep all your fantastical dreams to yourself. Kamar Cheema, first, can you please give us some roti dal atta?
Madam, you are absolutely right. Just go back few months, people were dying in the streets of India because of no medicine. So either you don't have a medicine or you don't have a food during the COVID. What happened in India? It was a global embarrassment. People were dying. दरियाओं में बह रहे
जो बॉडीज बह रही थी, लोगों की क्या हालत थी। I mean, शहबाज शरीफ आज अकल की बात कर रहे हैं, उनके सपोर्टर्स को भी करना चाहिए सर। कितना वैक्सीनेशन है आपका परसेंटेज सर? कमर चीमा साहब, कितना वैक्सीनेशन परसेंटेज? आप चीन की वैक्सीन लगा रहे हैं, चीन के लोग चीनी वैक्सीन से मर रहे हैं, आप उनसे ले लेके लगा रहे हैं। अब बेचारे लोगों को जो चीन की वैक्सीन दी, अब उनको खाना नहीं दे रहे।
I will give you answer in 30 seconds. I will give you answer in 30 seconds. The question is, what Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has offered today, it was offered by Prime Minister Modi 6 years back. And it was Prime Minister Modi who said, let's work together for eradicating poverty.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But Prime Minister Modi said it because there was genuine concern that if somebody has a little bit of brains left, they will see the light of day. Except for Shehbaz Sharif, it has happened at a time when you are broke. You are saying you know that you don't have the money.
Oh, madam, sun to lena. When a Pakistani Prime Minister says, oh, why are you saying for talks? And when India says, oh, look, this is the leadership.
That is Shehbaz Sharif is saying So, sir, here is why he's saying it. Here is why he's saying it. And I will tell you, as Amit Shah famously said, आप chronology समझिए. क्योंकि कल शहबाज शरीफ साहब ने क्या बोला और आज उन्होंने क्या बोला, उसकी chronology बहुत important है. Listen to what the PM said yesterday about loans, and then you'll understand the chronology. Listen.
People are dying in India as well. वहाँ कोई दूध की नहरें नहीं बह रही.
यूएई के जो सदर हैं मेरे भाई जनाब मोहम्मद बिन जायद, तो मैंने उनसे कहा कि आपने $2 अरब का जो कर्जा दिया है पाकिस्तान को, मेहरबानी कर उसको रोल ओवर कर दें. और मैंने फैसला किया था कि मजीद उनसे मैं कर्जा नहीं मांगूंगा, लेकिन किस्मत देखिए कि इस वक्त पाकिस्तान जिन मसाइब से मुश्किलात से गुजर रहा है, मैंने फिर आखिरी वक्त फैसला किया और हिम्मत बांधी कि मैं उनसे मजीद कर्जा मांगूं. तो मैंने कहा कि जनाब मेरे आप बड़े भाई हैं और मुझे बड़ी शर्म आ रही, लेकिन मजबूरी है. हमारे मामलात जो माली मामलात जो हैं इस वक्त बड़े IMF की शराइत में हम जकड़े हुए हैं. अभी भी 9th रिव्यू मुकम्मल नहीं हुआ. मैंने कहा कि मसाइल.
मिस्टर याकूब, अब तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर को भी शर्म आ रही है एक और लोन मांगने में. जाहिर सी बात है, इसमें क्या ही जंग कर लेंगे.
ऐसा प्राइम मिनिस्टर होते हुए तो मुझे भी शर्म आ रही है. Anyways, any sane voice from across the border. I mean, if any sane person who has a rational approach towards the bilateral relation of India and Pakistan, he would definitely believe the only way forward is the talks, dialogue. I mean, the only solution is the dialogue. So I would have supported the Prime Minister if he would have stood with his statement. He could no longer stood with his statement, and immediately or after few hours he reversed his statement and says that the only possibility with the talk with India is if she reversed the illegal action in the Kashmir, which was 317.
But it's fairly easy. If you really want to talk to India, you can clearly give control of Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Anyway, the people over there do not want to stay with Pakistan. Anyway, you cannot feed those people. Anyway, it's largely out of your control. Anyway, we've seen what happened in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It's a fairly easy road. But Shazia Ilmi, Mr. Kamar Chima is saying it's not like India is some great doodh ki nadiyan either. So it's in your interest as well. Don't gloat.
So first of all, I mean, I wouldn't really like to compare the two countries. We all know what's happening in Pakistan. I mean, decades old, inflation there, 21% and more. It's difficult to, we are seeing food riots taking place there, whereas India is all set and is the 5th largest economy and the fastest growing economy today. So let's not even compare and go there. It will just lead to more embarrassment, as Shehbaz Sharif has correctly mentioned. Secondly, and most importantly, I think good sense had prevailed when Mr. Sharif admitted, and it was a candid admission of the embarrassment he would have to endure if he were to go begging again, keeping in mind the situation in Pakistan. But of course, there was a rider that followed, which came belatedly, which also pointed out to the fact that there has to be some kind of revocation of Article 370 in India. And what was mentioned as, what was being talked, said illegal action in India. I mean, in India, whatever is good with India is legal, and whatever goes
the figures speak for themselves. Inflation, GDP, defense spend, all of the figures speak for themselves. Today there are companies who are coming to India to invest in the country, and your Prime Minister is saying even a loan is embarrassing now.
मेरी बात सुने मैडम, लोग बहन भाइयों से पैसे मांग लेते हैं. क्या हुआ, हमने यूएई से पैसे मांग लिए, आपको जरूरत पड़ती है तो आप भी तो
सर बहन भाइयों से पैसे मांगते हैं, बट इतना पैसा मांगेंगे थोड़े दिन बाद आपका भाई फोन उठाना बंद कर देगा. इतना मत मांगिए अपने भाई से,
कोई बात नहीं,
आपको ब्लॉक कर देगा आपका भाई भी.
हम दूसरे भाई को करेंगे, तीसरे भाई को करेंगे, चौथे भाई को करेंगे. भाइयों की कोई कमी नहीं है. देखें उधर सलमान भाई भी हैं, शाहरुख भाई भी हैं. आप परेशान ना हो, आप बड़ा दिल रखें. आपका दिल छोटा है, दिल आपका छोटा है, शहबाज शरीफ का भी बड़ा है और एमपी सेट का भी बड़ा है. मैं आपको बताऊं, इंडिया में हेल्थ राइट्स हुए, इंडिया में लोग मरे, मेडिसिन नहीं थी, और मोदी साहब अंदर छुप के बैठे हुए थे और उनकी कैबिनेट भी छुप के बैठी थी. ये डोंट टेल अस दीज थिंग्स. ओ फूड राइट्स, इन्फ्लेशन इज सो मच, things are out of control as if Pakistan is a cocoa land. Let me tell you,
it is. अरे हम थोड़ी ना बोल रहे हैं, आपके खुद के प्रधानमंत्री बोल रहे हैं कि अब तो बेइज्जती फील होती है कि जब भी देखो जा करके कभी IMF से कभी सऊदी से जाके पैसा मांगते हैं, उनको बेइज्जती महसूस होती है.
But dying on the streets of India because of coronavirus. हम भेज रहे थे हेल्प आपको, हमने कहा था भेजते हैं.
कब भेजा आपने हेल्प? अरे किधर से आपने हेल्प भेज दी भाई?
लेते
चलिए कोई बात नहीं,
तो आपके लोग ना मरते.
कोई बात नहीं सर. If you feel happy in your little castles in the air, it's great. It's great. You should be happy because sometimes when you actually don't have food in your stomach, it's just these little fond joys and happiness that perhaps make you help you sleep easy at night, in the hope that all people in Pakistan stay safe, get food that they deserve and get better governance. I'm going to end. Thank you very much, all gentlemen and Shazia Almi, for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
Let's get it started here, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated while you can't grind. It's like you're on the job, you know that team.
Hello everyone, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150. इन केस यू वंडरिंग, 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है? सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं. डिज़ाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस P वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं. तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर. और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में. अब डिज़ाइन की बात करें तो यहाँ पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है, स्पेशली ओवरऑल 150 जो पल्सर है उसके मुकाबले इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिज़ाइन पूरी आपको ये P150 तक देखने को मिलेगी. लेकिन आपको ओवरऑल जो एसेंस है डिज़ाइन का वो इसमें N160 वाला देखने को मिलने वाला है. फ्रंट हालांकि अलग है यहाँ पे, लेकिन अब इसमें P150 में प्रोजेक्टर हेडलैम्प्स दिए गए हैं एंड इसमें DRLs भी यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिलते हैं. अग्रेसिव, स्पोर्टी एंड शार्प एलिमेंट्स इसके डिज़ाइन में यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहे हैं. एंड साइड प्रोफाइल जो ओवरऑल है वो आपको N160 वाला ही झलक थ्रू आउट इसके साइड प्रोफाइल में देखने को मिलने वाला है. टैंक से लेकर इसके रियर पैनल्स यहाँ तक जो जाते हैं तो ओवरऑल वो लुक कुछ वैसा ही है, लेकिन अग्रेसिव और शार्प काफ़ी ये इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिज़ाइन पहले के मुकाबले लग रही है. देन पल्सर की बड़ी सी ब्रांडिंग यहाँ दी गई है एंड यहाँ काउल अलग से देखने को मिल रहा है टैंक पे. एंड देयर इज बेली पैन जो यहाँ पे नीचे दिया गया है, जो बॉडी कलर के हिसाब से दिया गया है. एंड P150 की ब्रांडिंग यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है. सीट जो है इसमें स्प्लिट सीट्स आती हैं. इसमें 2 वेरिएंट हैं, SD और TD. एंड जो इसका स्टार्टिंग वेरिएंट है SD उसमें सिंगल सीट है. इसमें जो है जो टॉप वेरिएंट है इसका उसमें TD सीट.
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
BJP questions the silence of top RJD leaders including Tejaswi Yadav on Bihar's Minister Chandrasekhar. The spokesperson of the party claims while he has gone scot-free in the name of secularism, Nupur Sharma was made a victim by these left liberal parties. Bihar Chief Minister broke his silence over the remarks of his Education Minister's comments on the Ramcharitmanas, saying that his government respects all religions and advocates freedom for all to practice their religion. Amid the tussle with the Lieutenant Governor over the teacher's trip to Finland, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal launched an explosive attack on the Lieutenant Governor, saying he deliberately is scuttling the teacher's trip as he is against providing quality education to the poor. Delhi Assembly witnessed another stormy day as BJP MLAs were physically evicted from the House today after the Speaker suspended BJP MLAs. The Speaker justified his action by saying he can disallow them just like the LG disallows the Aam Aadmi Party. After the IAMC wrote a letter against UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's visit to Davos, UP Minority Affairs Minister hit back, denouncing the biased remarks and called the statements divisive.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
इनकेस आप मिलेनियन वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार। सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे ये गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं, एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं है बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में हैं तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है, हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था। ये है BYD की Atto 3 और क्या परफॉर्मेंस, क्या रेंज, क्या डिजाइन, क्या फीचर्स BYD।
Watching the News Hour at 10.
A deeper conspiracy to target Hindus in India is unraveled after the arrest of 2 terrorists. The police is on the lookout for 4 others and suspects the involvement of 8 to 10 in total. A security breach was reported at Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra in Punjab as a man rushed to the Congress MP to offer him a hug. While the IG police confirmed the incident took place, Rahul Gandhi called it just a hug. Times Now exposed the full statement given by Dawood's nephew to NIA, exposing how Dawood Ibrahim is flourishing in a defense area of Karachi. He's even married for a second time to a woman of Pathan origin. Reeling under intense economic crisis, a desperate Pakistan begged India for peace. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif admitted that they've learned a lesson, but moments later, a red-faced Pakistan Prime Minister backpedaled and said there's no chance of peace till the abrogation of Article 370 is revoked. A shocking video emerged of a man being dragged on the streets of Bengaluru by a biker. The biker who crashed into a car tried to flee from the spot, but the driver of the car tried to hold on to him when he began to drag him as he fled.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे अनबॉक्स। Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे। Let's begin. फोन अनबॉक्स हो चुका है। जैसे कि आपने देखा यहाँ पर स्टिकर उतारते हुए मैंने इसे थोड़ा सा गंद मचा दी। यहाँ पे स्टिकर ऑलरेडी दिखाई दे रहा है, बट इसको क्लीन करेंगे बाद में। अभी बात करेंगे स्मार्टफोन के बारे में। थोड़ा सा मुझे वेट इसका ज्यादा लग रहा है, वो यूज करने के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये कितना कंफर्टेबल है। अदर देन दैट यू गेट 3 कैमराज एट द बैक। इसको आपको मिलेगा स्क्वायरिश कैमरा मॉड्यूल के अंदर। द मेन कैमरा इज 108 मेगापिक्सल और यही इसका यूएसपी है। सिर्फ बैक कैमरास की बात नहीं है बॉस, आपको फ्रंट कैमरा भी बहुत ही धांसू दिखाई दे रहा है। एटलीस्ट ऑन द स्पेक शीट यूज करने पे पता चलेगा कि कितना अच्छा है या नहीं अच्छा है। फ्रंट कैमरा जो इसका